Hello everyone, welcome to Chapters and welcome to another important live current affairs weekly revision series session for the upcoming month of April 2026. So my dear friends, I hope that all of you are really preparing well for the upcoming RBI Grade B officer examination and you have done really well till now for the first 3 weeks and the part 1 of the fourth week of current affair weekly revision session of the month of April 2026. So my dear friends, if I am audible and visible to all of you, please give me a thumbs up in the chat box so that we can start with the today's session. So good afternoon Kashish, ABC and all the people who have joined us live today in this session where we are going to cover the important current affairs of 27 to 30th of April 2026. So my dear friends, I want all of you to give me a thumbs up in the chat box. Just please confirm me that whether all the things are clear and all the technicalities are good. So my dear friends, 27 to 30th of April 2026 is the timeline that we will be covering in the today's session, right? So once again, welcome to all of you in the today's session, my dear friends. So you all know that we are already done with the first 3 weeks of April and the part 1 of the fourth week of April is also covered. Now we are on to the next part, that is a part 2 of the 27 to 30th of April 2026. So before moving ahead, my dear friends, I would like to ask you if you have revised, retained and solved the MCQs of the previous 3 weeks or not. Please give me a thumbs up in the chat box if you are done with that. So please give me a thumbs up in the chat box if you guys are done with that part of the current affair weekly revision session. So it's really very important for us to ensure that yes, you are done with the important weekly current affair revision sessions. And once again, the people who are new to these sessions, let me tell you my dear friends that these sessions we have started for the RBI Grade B, for the RBI Grade B examination, right? These are the weekly revision sessions. We are already done with the first 3 weeks of April 2026, right? So we are already done with the first 3 weeks of April 2026. And this is really a very important part that we are on to the fourth week of April. We are also done with the part 1 of the April fourth week, right? And today we are doing part 2, that is the dates comprising 27 to 30th of April 2026. So I believe that yes, your preparations are really going good. ABC, Ikigai, English, Pratyush, Kashish, Harshal, all the people have said that yes, we are done and we have covered each and everything from the examination point of view. That's really great, my dear friends. Now let's move ahead to the today's session, and before starting that I would like to give a very small introduction of the current affairs chapter. Guys, let me tell you here that at the chapters we have provided one single current affair chapter, that is one single current affair document, and we have divided it into the two parts. The part 1 is phase 1 and 2, which is directly related to the syllabus, covering the current affairs directly related to the syllabus, which includes the ESI current affairs, finance current affairs, reports, schemes, including the RBI notifications, right? And then we have the next part, that is the current affair which is only relevant for the phase 1 examination, that is the current affair which is not at all related to the syllabus, like sports, defense, awards, exercises, appointments, books and authors. So all these are the important articles that we need to cover for the phase 1 from the examination point of view. Clear, my dear friends? So I hope that everything is clear, and now we are good to go with the first part of the today's session. Okay, my dear friends. So let's start the session with the very first news article, and we are moving ahead with the very first news article. And the first news article is basically a free trade agreement signed between the India and New Zealand. My dear friends, previously we have covered some other free trade agreements in the previous sessions, right? And now again I would like to inform you that India has signed a India-New Zealand free trade agreement which has been signed. Okay, so my dear friends, when it comes to the free trade agreement, let me give you an example. There are two shops, shop 1 and shop 2. So shopkeeper 1 and 2 basically signed a deal with each other, that okay, shopkeeper 1 says that okay, shopkeeper 2, you can bring your products without paying any entry fees. You can come and sell your products in my shop, right? And similarly, the shop 2 also says the same, that okay, shop 1, you can enter your products freely into my shop and you can sell your products from there without paying any extra entry fees, right? So this is basically what they have done. They have removed the entry fees. So basically, if we consider these two shops as countries, so shop number 1 is India, shop number 2 is New Zealand. Clear to everyone? So now they have removed the entry prices. That means the custom duties that we need to pay when we are, selling the products in the other countries. So what we have done is we have removed those entry barriers, right? We have removed those custom duties which were acting as a barrier between the two countries, right? So the similar manner, India and New Zealand has signed this free trade agreement. Clear everyone? It is a free trade agreement. Now guys, let me tell you here, there is another scenario. What exactly it is? So India and New Zealand. So New Zealand says that India, you can come to my market and you can basically sell all the products which you are having. Whatever product you are having, you can sell all the products in my market, right? But India says that, okay, New Zealand, we are really happy that yes, you have allowed us to sell all the products that we are having, right? But when it comes to you, I am not opening everything because I am not going to go blindly, like, right? So you can come, your products can come to my market, but not all the products. Only some products can come, not all. And what percentages? Around 70% of the products are been allowed by India of the New Zealand, that okay, New Zealand, you can sell these products in my own country, in my market. But New Zealand says that we are allowing 100% of the products. So India is getting 100% duty-free market access to the New Zealand, but New Zealand is getting that only for 70%. Clear everyone? I hope you guys are able to understand this point. Now let me tell you another important part. See, that's how both the countries have done this. Now you must have seen that so many times you see the word tariff line. The word tariff line we have discussed in the previous session also. The word tariff line is basically, indicates the category of product, a particular category of the product. It can be like a car, it can be an agriculture commodity, right? So it is a particular category of a product is called the tariff line. Clear everyone? So now let's move ahead into the article and let's try to understand this, directly jumping into the key details of the article. So India has signed the free trade agreement with the New Zealand, described as a major milestone in bilateral economic relations. It aims to strengthen India's global trade partnership, support economic growth, create jobs and enhance India's global standing. Now let me tell you here, they have just not decided that okay, we will be only trading the products. No. My dear friends, right now you can see that India, what exactly is the biggest asset that India is having right now? Can anybody tell me that? What is the biggest asset that India is having right now? It is its human capital. So India says that it's not just the products that we will be providing to you, we will be sending the skilled workforce to your country, right? So there will be livelihood creation, there will be a skill creation in your country, right? Our people will be working in your country, okay? So that's how we are not just working on the trade of products, but we are also focusing on the creation of the jobs. Clear, my dear friends? So it is a comprehensive framework covering market access, agricultural productivity, investment, talent mobility, sports collaboration, tourism, and people to people ties. Now how exactly agricultural productivity? Let's take an example that there is a farmer of New Zealand. He is having the high technology and he knows some good methods which can be used in order to increase the productivity levels. But in our own country, let's take an example, the farmer is not having that much of the knowledge. So India says that not only your products will come to our country, New Zealand. See, you're not just bringing your products to our own country, but you will also be bringing the technology, the knowledge to our country, with the help of which we can increase our agricultural productivity. Are you guys able to understand this? So the agreement is intended to benefit manufacturers, farmers, MSMEs, women entrepreneurs, students and skilled professionals in both the countries. So दोनों ही countries में ये फायदा इनको मिलने वाला है. Okay, so you can see here zero duty on 100% of the goods exports upon entry into force. Fast track mechanism होगा, tariff elimination across all the tariff lines. It opens opportunities for India to emerge as a key supplier of the skilled workforce alongside prospects for the future cooperation. Clear? Now let's move on to the salient features of the FTA. So I told you some important key points, that 70% has been allowed by India, 100% allowed by New Zealand. So how exactly it works? So FTA eliminates duty on the 100% of Indian exports. So 100% of the Indian exports, right? So FTA eliminates the duty. Like whatever India will be exporting to the New Zealand, there will be no duty implied on it. A USD 20 billion investment commitment over 15 years strengthens long-term economic and strategic cooperation. So basically, New Zealand will be investing 20 billion US dollars in our country in a period of next 15 years, which is again going to strengthen India's long-term economic and strategic cooperation with New Zealand. Through the Agricultural Productivity Partnership, it collaborates with the farmers to boost productivity, integrate them in global value chains. See guys, so as I already told you, India has clearly mentioned to the New Zealand that see, you can bring your products to the Indian market, but along with that you are also required to ensure to bring the technology and the knowledge so that the productivity levels in our own country can also be increased. The FTA boosts MSMEs jobs through the zero duty access for labor intensive sectors. See guys, basically what was happening is, let's take an example. There is the jewelry industry, leather industry, textile industry, where you can see a lot of laborers are working in our country, but they were not able to sell the products outside India. They were not able to sell the products to the other country. Why? Because they were required to pay the custom duty, right? They were required to pay the custom duty. But now, my dear friends, what they have done is that we are allowing these labor intensive sectors that okay, you make shoes, a small shoemaker of our country can sell the products in the New Zealand without paying much amount. Clear to everyone? So these labor intensive sectors includes textile, apparel, leather, footwear, gems and jewelry, and engineering goods and processed foods. India has offered market access in 70.03% of the tariff lines. As I already told you, 70.03% of the tariff lines have been opened by India, while 29.97% tariff lines in exclusion. So basically, which covers 95% of the New Zealand's bilateral trade. So basically guys, 70.703% India is allowed. The remaining 29.97% India says that sorry New Zealand, we respect you and our friendship, but we cannot allow you this much amount of part. Clear? Now the certain products are kept in exclusion. Now there are some certain products which have been kept. Like my dear friends, you must have heard about the Amul, right? So in India, Amul is a very big cooperative which is working. So let's take an example that if New Zealand is bringing its dairy products, as it is really known for its bestest quality of the dairy products in the entire world, if these dairy products are coming to India, who will purchase Amul? Not many people will be purchasing Amul, right? So that's why to protect these sectors, we have decided to do this. Just take an example that there is a school canteen, right? And there are some local students who are selling the handmade products, right? Homemade products in that part. But the school allows a big food chain to come and sell products. So what will happen? This food chain is going to sell the products at lower prices with a better packaging, with a better quality of food. So what will happen? Nobody is going to go to these people to purchase the products. Everybody will be going to this global chain, food chain, right? So that is why what now school has done is, school says that okay, you global food chain, you come, but only X, Y and Z products you can sell, not more than that. Rest remaining products will be of these local people only, which will be sold. Clear to everyone? That's to protect the people of the country who are already producing the same kind of products. We have come up with this exclusion in the free trade agreement, which includes dairy like milk, cream, whey, yogurt, cheese, then animal products other than the sheep meat, vegetable products like onion, chana, peas, corn, almonds, etc., which we will not be allowing New Zealand to bring into the Indian market as a part of the free trade agreement. Now there are sugar, artificial honey, animal, vegetable and microbial fats. So these are the excluded products. See guys, let me tell you that this is really very important. You have to remember this from exam point of view, that what are the different areas which have been excluded from this particular whole free trade agreement story. Now let's move ahead. 30% of the tariff lines will have immediate duty elimination. See guys, now India has divided the products in the different parts. There are some parts where 100% of the duty has been eliminated. Then there are some parts where it will be eliminated in a phased manner. Then there are some parts where not 100%, only 70% or only 80% of the duty will be eliminated. Then there are some areas where there is a tariff rate quota. What exactly it means? See guys, it is a very important concept when it comes to the FTA. Why? The tariff rate quota basically ensures that, just take an example of a coaching institute, and it says that first 100 students coming to the class, they are basically having 50%. They are 50% discount. We are providing them 50% discount. The remaining of the people who will be coming after those 100 students, they have to pay 100% they have to pay 100% of the fees. So this is what is the TRQ, that is the tariff rate quota, which basically shows that you can come but in the limited amount. That means only X% of the amount can be bring to the country at the lower duty, right? Not all the products will be coming, not unlimited amount will be coming at this particular quantity. No, only the particular amount of the that particular product will be coming at this quantity. Are you guys able to understand? Able to understand everything that we have covered till now, guys? Let me tell you that the India and New Zealand FTA is really very important, not just for the phase 1 exam but also for the phase 2 examination. Okay, now moving at 30% of the tariff will have a immediate duty elimination, which covers wood, wool, sheep, meat, leather, raw, right? Then 35.6% are subject to phased elimination, which will be in 3, 5, 7 or 10 years, including the petroleum oil, malt extract, vegetable oils, selected electrical mechanical machinery. Then 4.37% of the products face tariff reductions. So my dear friends, 4.37% of the products will be facing the tariff reductions. For example, wine, pharmaceutical drugs, polymers, aluminium, iron. 0.06% fall under the tariff rate quota. That means only particular amount of, that is 0.06% of the manuka, honey, then we have apples, kiwi fruit can be imported to the country. Clear everyone? Now students can convert global learning to the global experience with the post-study work rights of up to 3 years for STEM bachelors and master's graduates, and up to 4 years of the doctoral scholars. So guys, I already told you, it's not just the products, but basically we will also be sending the skilled workforce also, right? Now comes the very important part, the most favored nation commitment in about 139 subsectors. So basically this most favored nation commitment, let me explain with the help of an example. Let's take an example that there is a classroom, right? And here is you, right? You are here and there are a group of 5 people here. Let's take an example. I say that I will be giving notes to all 5 of you, right? So basically I have signed a MFN agreement with you also. So basically, which indicates that if I am giving the notes to these 5 people, then I will be giving the same notes to you also. Whatever I am giving to these people, I will be giving to you also, right? So that is the most favored nation commitment. That means in the upcoming future, if there is a particular kind of treatment New Zealand is giving to the XYZ country, then it will be liable to treat India in the similar manner as per that particular country. And for that, both the countries have signed an MOU in 139 subsectors, which includes major interest areas of the India. So that's how this becomes a really very, very important part from exam point of view. The FTA establishes a new temporary employment entry visa pathway for the Indian professionals with a quota of 5,000 visas at any given time and a stay of up to 3 years. So basically there will be 5,000 visas at any given time and a stay of up to 3 years. So for that we have a T visa pathway, that is temporary employment entry. Temporary employment entry visa pathway for the Indian professionals in the skilled occupations. Clear my dear friends? So what are the different gains for the India? Basically 100% of the India's exports to the New Zealand, duty free inputs, reduced trade barriers are there, cooperation will be there for the MSMEs. New Zealand has agreed on focused action plans for the kiwi fruit, apples and honey, right? There will be tariff rate quota on the basis of which New Zealand will be sending the products to India. Project for apple cultivators and sustainable beekeeping practices. So all these are the important parts. Now my dear friends, the market access will be regulated through a tariff rate quota system along with the minimum import price. The measures aim to ensure consumer choice while protecting domestic farmers. All TRQs will be linked with the agricultural productivity action plans and monitored through a joint agriculture productivity council. So now when it comes to India, guys, India has recently signed 9 free trade agreements in the recent years. And currently New Zealand की बात करें तो New Zealand is India's second largest trading partner in Oceania. So Oceania के अंदर India का second largest trading partner बन चुका है New Zealand, right? And India is targeting that by leveraging these free trade agreements, we are aiming to achieve USD 2 trillion of the exports by year 2030. So by 2030 we are aiming to achieve to USD 2 trillion exports, right? Under the Viksit Bharat vision, where USD 1 trillion will be in the merchandise exports and 1 trillion in the services exports. Clear to everyone? Let's try to again go through the complete article and let's try to solve the important question that can be asked. So I will be asking you the question, you have to give me the answer in the chat box. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to give me the answers? So first of all, please tell me with which country India signed this FTA. That is the New Zealand. Okay, and they have basically allowed 100% of the Indian exports. FTA eliminates duty on what percentage of Indian exports? 100%. What amount will be invested by India in 15 years, over a period of 15 years by the New Zealand? That is USD $20 billion investment, right? Are they focusing on the agricultural productivity partnerships? Yes, they are focusing on agricultural productivity partnership. They are also providing zero duty access for labor intensive sectors like including textile, apparel, leather, footwear, gems and jewelry. Now when it comes to what percentage of the tariff lines India has provided 100% duty free to the New Zealand, that is only 70.03%. And what percentage of tariff lines have been excluded? 29.97%. Now certain products are kept in exclusion. What are the different products which are kept excluded? These are dairy products, animal products, vegetable products like onion, chana, peas, corn, almonds, sugar and artificial honey, animal, vegetable and microbial fats, arms and ammunition, gems and jewelry, aluminium and articles, right? Now please tell me here, what is the percentage of the tariff lines which will be having immediate duty elimination that New Zealand can basically do to India? That is 30% of the tariff lines. And how many will be taken forward in the phased elimination? That is 35.6%. 30% immediate duty elimination, 35.6% phased elimination. And tariff reduction will be for 4.37 products. That includes wine, pharmaceutical drugs, polymers, and there was a tariff rate quota which will be on what percentage? 0.06%. Absolutely right. So this is what we have to cover, my dear friends. And for the science, technology, engineering, maths bachelors, so basically we are having the 3 years and master graduates and up to 4 years for the doctoral scholars. Most favored nation commitment will including 139 subsectors. FTA establishes a new temporary employment entry visa pathway for Indian professionals in skilled occupations with a quota of 5,000 visas, and for how many years? For a period of 3 years. Absolutely right. Are you able to understand? Are you able to give me the answer in the chat box? So absolutely right. Madhur, Kashish, ABC, Harshal, Pratyush and all the people who have joined us and who are giving me the answers correctly in the comment section. Well done, my dear friends. So we are already done with all these parts. Now please tell me, India has signed a 9 free trade agreement with how many developed countries? 38. Currently, which country is India's second largest trading partner in Oceania? That is New Zealand. What is India's target in terms of exports by 2030? That is USD 2 trillion. तो दोस्तों 2 trillion का हम export target कर रहे हैं, right? 1 trillion each in merchandise and the services exports. So my dear friends, now it's a time that yes, we should answer the Drishyam questions, right? And now here is the Drishyam round for all of you. Let me switch on the annotations for all of you. Yes, and here it is. So please quickly, first of all, tell me that what is the name of the country with which this MOU has been signed, the FTA has been signed? That is New Zealand. Absolutely right. New Zealand is the right answer. The FTA eliminates duty on dash percent of the Indian exports, 100%. A dash investment commitment over 15 years. What is that? What is that investment? 2 billion or 20 billion? It is $20 billion. Through Dash Productivity Partnership, FTA collaborates with farmers to boost productivity and integrate them in the global value chains. Agriculture. The FTA boosts MSMEs and jobs through a dash duty access, that is zero duty access. India has offered market access in 70.03% tariff lines while keeping 29.97% tariff lines in exclusion. What are the certain products which are kept in exclusion? It includes, my dear friends, dairy products, animal products, vegetable products, right? Then we are having what percentage of the tariff lines will have immediate duty elimination? 30%. The dash percentage of products face tariff reductions, 34%, around 34%. 0.06% fall under the tariff rate quota, that is TRQ, which includes which type of honey? Which type of honey? Manuka honey, absolutely right. Students can convert global learning to global experience with the post-study work rights of up to what amount of years? 3 years for the STEM bachelor's and master's graduates and up to 4 years for the doctoral scholars. Most favored nation commitment in about how many sectors? 139 subsectors. India FTA establishes a new T, that is T visa pathway. What exactly T stands for? It's temporary employment entry visa pathway for the Indian professionals. Now, my dear friends, the FTA provides duty-free access for dash percentage of India's exports to the New Zealand. What amount of? What percentage? 100%. New Zealand have agreed on the focused action plans for dash to improve productivity, quality and sectoral capabilities of these fruits growers in India. Last question. This is your homework. Please give me the answer in the chat box. What exactly will be? Okay, moving ahead, guys. In the do you know also we are having some questions like currently which country is India's second largest trading partner in Oceania? That is New Zealand, right? And what is the target India is having in exports by 2030? That is 2 trillion. 2 trillion is the right answer. 1 trillion each in the merchandise and the service exports. Absolutely right. So we are done with all the important information from examination point of view. Clear to everyone? Clear to everyone? Please give me a thumbs up in the chat box if you guys are able to retain, revise, cover all these important dates, all these important datas of the India-New Zealand Free Trade Agreement. Now I can ensure you that even if a descriptive questions comes in your mind, and even if I ask you to write an essay on the India-New Zealand FTA, I think everybody of you will be able to write their essay. Right, because all of you are able to retain all the information from exam point of view. Now, my dear friends, let's move on to the inland waterways of India. So basically, you all know that presently, my dear friends, there is a lot of, lot of workload on the particular means of transport like road, railways, right? And we want to reduce that load. So what exactly is the another mode of transport that we are having, which is quite sustainable in nature, which is basically takes low fuel, less costly? That is the waterways. Using the canals, rivers for transporting the products from one place to the another in our country, right? Let's take an example that there is a school student, right? The school student is having 2 shoulders. The school student is having 2 shoulders. On one shoulder there is one bag, on the other shoulder there is another bag. So the person is having so much pressure on his shoulders, right? And which are these 2 shoulders? These are road and the railways. Now let's take an example. I as a government, I just do one thing, that I am providing him a trolley bag. I am providing him a trolley bag with the wheels. So will that be really easy option for that person? Right? It will be easing the load on that person, right? So this trolley bag here is this waterways, which can reduce the load. So India possesses an extensive network of inland waterways in the form of river, canal, backwaters, but we are not using it completely. I will be telling you why I am saying so. So, but why we are talking about the waterways? Because these routes offer a cost-effective and environmentally sustainable way to move freight, as they use fuel efficiency and produce fewer emissions. Right? Fuel efficient hai, fewer emissions hai. And guys, that is why Union Budget 26-27 has announced operationalization of 20 new national waterways over the next 5 years. See, in the next 5 years, we are going to work and we are going to operationalize 20 new national waterways. And we have also come up with a coastal cargo promotion scheme. right, where we are shifting the cargo transportation from road and railways to the water transport, where we are basically ensuring that okay, we are no more just dependent on the road and the railways for the transportation of the products. We are having the waterways as well. The policy seeks to increase the combined share of inland waterways and coastal shipping from 6% to 12% by 2047. Guys, see, right now only 6% of the total cargo transportation is being taken place through the inland waterways. Now we want to increase it to 12% by 2047. That's what this article is talking about. Now see, a very important data, why I said you that we are having a lot of potential and we are not getting the most out of it. See, India is having a network of 111 national waterways with a total of 20,187 km, which is spreading across 23 states and 4 union territories. Out of these 111 national waterways, only 32 waterways are currently operational. See guys, a very important point. Out of the 111 national waterways, only 32 are currently operational. Can you see the number? Only 32. That means around 1/4. That means the remaining 75% of the waterways are unused. Their potential we are not even meeting. We are not even using that. That is the reason Government of India has decided to operationalize 30 new national waterways so that we can tap on the potential of those waterways and we can move ahead and we can reduce the cost and the efficiency of the fuel, right? So basically we can reduce the cost in terms of transportation of the cargo from one place to the another. The cargo transportation of national waterways recorded an all-time high of 145.84 million metric tons in fiscal year 24-25, right? Clear, my dear friends? So that is a record. It is an all-time high that we are able to transport 145.84 million metric tons of the cargo in fiscal year 24-25. This is the highest ever number that we have seen. So what is basically the total length of India's national waterways? That is 20,187 km. How many national waterways are there? 111. How many are operational till now? 32. How many new waterways will be made operational in the next 5 years? That is total 20 new national waterways will be operational in the next 5 years. Clear? And what is India's target of increasing the combined share of inland waterways and coastal shipping from 6% to what percent by 2047? That is 12% by 2047. That is the right answer. Clear, my dear friends? I hope that this is clear to everyone. Okay, so you guys are able to retain all this information from exam point of view. Let's try to answer these questions then. So the union budget has announced the operationalization of how many new national waterways? 20 new national waterways over a period of next 5 years. We are trying to increase the combined share of inland waterways and coastal shipping from 6% to what percentage? 12% by 2047. India has a network of dash national waterways with a total length of 20,187 km. What exactly is that number? Total network is 111, and how many are operational? Only 32 are operational till now. That's all that what we have to remember from exam point of view. Clear to everyone? Clear everyone, my dear future officers? Let's move on to the next news article now. So Niti Aayog has launched DPI at the 2047 roadmap for the Viksit Bharat. So guys, for the Viksit Bharat we are having this. Niti Aayog launched DPI at the 2047 roadmap. So my dear friends, first of all, what is a DPI? DPI, it is a digital public infrastructure. Digital public infrastructure. Let's take an example that it is a building. Right? We are having the different infrastructures in our society, like buildings are there, roads are there, highways are there, right? Same kind of infrastructure is there, but this infrastructure is basically digital, right? For example, UPI, for example, mobile, for example, Aadhaar, for example, you are having the DigiLocker where you can store your documents. So these are the digital public infrastructures. Okay. So now Niti Aayog has launched DPI at the 2047 for Viksit Bharat roadmap. So Niti Aayog has said that okay, as a part of the DPI 1, we have already achieved so many achievements, right? We have already seen these different infrastructures are there, but now this is the time to tap on the potential on them. Now let me tell you how. Let's take an example, my dear friend. Let's take an example, the chapters. First of all, my dear friends, when we were launching the chapters, we created a website, right? we created a website. We basically created a kind of interface for all of you where you can come and you can see the different chapters, different courses, the packages are been there, right? We have made them available to you. Then we were having a payment gateway so that you guys can make the payment, right? So we have created the website, we have created some good interface where you can come, you can pay the amount and you can purchase the course, right? But now we have to add and bring economic activities to this particular interface and the website. By how? So now what we have done, we have launched some multiple courses. We launched the ARD course, we launched the management course, we launched the current affairs package, we launched the different current affairs chapters. Now you can see that we are using this infrastructure, to bring economic activity through this infrastructure by bringing more courses which can be give to the people so that we can really help them to be the next officer in the upcoming year, right? So in the similar manner, till now we have seen that we have already created that infrastructure of the mobile phone, UPI, direct benefit transfer, Aadhaar card, DigiLocker. Now it's a time to tap on the potential of that. So basically we have earlier created a road. Now we have to bring economic activity on that road through some activities. Now how exactly we are doing that? That's what the question is all about. Okay. So the roadmap aims to guide the next phase of India's DPI journey for inclusive, non-linear and productivity-led growth. The roadmap was prepared by the Niti Frontier Tech Hub and developed in partnership with the Ek Step Foundation and Deloitte. See guys, let me tell you that when you are moving in such a very very important area of the DPI, you should take step one by one with the proper planning. So planning का मतलब क्या है? नीति Frontier Tech Hub. And I told you that you have to take step one by one. That means Ek Step Foundation, and then Deloitte. So all these organizations came together for this particular part. So now we have come up with the two different timelines of the DPI. We are having the DPI 2.0 and DPI 3.0. DPI 2.0 will be focusing on the timeline of 2025 to 2035, right? Where we are focusing on the livelihood-led growth at scale. What we have done at chapters, right? So we are providing you more and more number of different courses, chapters, and we are providing you the packages as well, right? So this is basically creating a kind of income for us so that we can sustain the infrastructure. For example, we are having a laptop, we are having some digital pen, we are having the board, we are having the light, we are having the internet, right? We are making all these products. So we need energy to create these kind of documents for you to take the sessions. So basically we are using that money and we are using that for these particular parts so that we are maintaining all these areas. Clear everyone? So that's how we are going to focus on the livelihood-led growth at scale. And then guys, DPI 3.0 will be focusing on the broad-based prosperity. Like we will be focusing on innovation at grassroots level for the sustained high-value local economic growth. Clear everyone? Able to understand? So please remember the two timelines. DPI 2.0 will be from 2025 to 2035 and 3.0 will be from 2035 to 2047. That's all that you need to remember from exam point of view, right? DPI 2.0 will be focusing on realizing the aspirations and DPI 3.0 will be focusing on achieving prosperity. So it identifies 8 sectoral transformations targeting structural bottlenecks in the MSMEs, agriculture, education, and health. So guys, let me tell you that there are different types of bottlenecks. Bottlenecks means the issues with the different sectors. For example, in the MSMEs, let's take an example that they are not getting proper access to the market, or they are not getting proper access to the credit, they are not having proper access to the human resource skills. So these are the different bottlenecks at the MSMEs level. Similarly, we are having different bottlenecks at the different levels for agriculture, education and health. And that's why Government of India came up with the 8 sectoral transformations, which include the scaled market expansion for MSMEs, MSME jobs, finding local talent, improved livelihood for smallholder farmers, safe spaces for learner-centric education, universal health coverage, access to the credit for 1 billion Indians, decentralized energy markets, benefits finding beneficiaries. So that's how these are the different sectoral transformation areas that DPI 2.0 is going to focus upon. right? So it is also going to focus upon strengthening enablers such as credit, decentralized energy and benefit delivery. It aims to extend digital infrastructure beyond the identity, payments and welfare into the livelihood, productivity and market access. It emphasizes the open digital infrastructure, trusted data flows and ecosystem-led innovation for large-scale technology adoption. So these are the different areas on which, and that's how this will be working. Now my dear friends, there are four execution imperatives. Right? One is a district-led demand aggregation. Now how exactly it works? District-led demand aggregation. Let me tell you guys that, let's take an example that there are four different students, okay? And one of them is, weak in quants, one of them is weak in reasoning, one of them weak in English, one of them weak in GA. And I am only providing the GA session to all of you, right? So this is not going to help you all these students. This is going to only help the student who is having the weak GA. But the people who are having weak quant, reasoning and English, for them we need to come up with the different solutions for the QRE specific, right? So that's what the district-led demand aggregation, where the demand of every district is different, right? In some areas we need to work more on the health, in some districts we need to work more on the education, in some districts we need to work on the infrastructure. So there are the different targets, different problems of the different districts. So there must be district-led demand aggregation. Scaling technology entrepreneurship, leveraging artificial intelligence, cross-sector unlocks through the better data use, digital transactions, stronger human capacity and democratization of the artificial intelligence. So that is something that we need to understand here. Okay, these are the four execution imperatives. Are you guys able to understand? Please give me a thumbs up in the chat box if yes. Are you guys able to understand? So by combining the DPI, AI and entrepreneurship, India can build a inclusive vernacular and population scale model. Now when it comes to the DPI 1.0, it has enabled an explosion of the new services, inclusion and the economic activity that were previously unimaginable. So basically, when DPI 1.0 was not there, at that point of time there were different types of services which we could have not imagined. For example, right now UPI, you just go to the market, scan the QR code, even rupees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1000, 2000, 3000, you are able to pay through the UPI, right? So this is something that is the byproduct of the DPI 1.0. For example, as a user and ecosystem centric design, it has come up with a problem first approach, citizen centric design, minimalistic trade, shared capability and compelling value proposition. Then we are having strategic and agile implementation of empowered institutional setup, government as an enabler, mission based programs, shift from project to the product mindset. So these are the different areas and the different ways which they have taken. So I hope guys that this is clear to everyone. The DPI is very much clear. Now what exactly is the DPI that has been launched by the Niti Aayog, that is DPI 2047. That is, we are just targeting the year by which we will be celebrating our 100th year of the independence, right? And we are focusing on the DPI journey for inclusive, non-linear and productivity-led growth. What are the organizations which are behind the launch of this particular report? Can anybody tell me? Please tell me in the chat box. These are the Niti Frontier Tech Hub and Ekstep Foundation and Deloitte. Now after that, what are the different timelines for the DPI 2.2 and 3.0? So DPI 2.0 focuses on the livelihood-led growth at scale with the timeline of 2025 to 2035. And the DPI 3.0 will be focusing on the broad-based prosperity 2035 to 2047. So that's all we need to cover from examination point of view from here. Right? It aims to extend the digital infrastructure beyond identity, payments and the welfare into livelihoods. There are four execution imperatives: district-led aggregation, scaling technology, leveraging AI and cross-sector unlocks through better data use. So that's all from this DPI 3.2, my dear friends. Let's try to answer the questions in the given ratio round. Please quickly tell me here. What will be the right answer to the first question? 2047. Absolutely right. So it launches the DPI at the rate 2047 for the Viksit Bharat roadmap. The roadmap aims to guide the next phase of India's DPI journey for inclusive, non-linear and productivity-led growth. So what exactly the DPI stands for here? Digital Public Infrastructure. Absolutely right. The roadmap was prepared by which organization? NITI, Frontier Tech Hub. And it is basically working with the Extra Foundation and Deloitte. Clear? Now the DPI 2.0. What is the timeline for the DPI 2.0? 2025 to 2035. For DPI 3.0, 35 to 47. So that's how the timelines are. So DPI 2.0 includes 8 sectoral transformations targeting structured bottlenecks in MSMEs, agriculture, dash and dash. So what will be the right answer here? DPI 2.0 have 8 sectoral transformation targeting bottlenecks in MSMEs, agriculture, health and education. So my dear friends, it was really very easy to cover this particular article. Please tell me in the chat box if you guys are clear with this or not. Now let's move on to the next part, that is a quick estimate of index of industrial production. So before directly moving on to the article, let us try to understand that what exactly the quick estimates of index of industrial production is all about. Let me tell you that it basically tells us about the industrial production growth. How exactly we are going to perform in the different areas. And these different sectors are mining, manufacturing, and electricity. Just remember MME. So in this index of industrial production, we are having 3 important sectors: mining, manufacturing, and electricity. Clear? It is a release for a particular month, and it has been released every 28th of every month, or next working day. 28th is a holiday. The index is compiled with the data received from source agencies, which in turn receive the data from the producing factories and establishments. Or quick estimates के लिए we are having a base year as well. What is the base year? The base year is 2011, 12 to 100. That is the base year. Clear everyone? Now let's move on to the part that why exactly it is called quick. So it is telling us about the initial values about the industrial production growth and the output. But why exactly it is quick? Let's take an example that you have just attempted the test, and right now teacher basically goes through the test and it says that okay, you will be getting around 50 marks in this test. But these 50 marks can be revised. You might get 47, you might get 55. Right? So that's what is the case of quick estimate of index of industrial production. When the index of industrial production is being calculated, they are just getting the key details from the industries, 3 sectors: mining, manufacturing, and electricity, and they are basically creating the quick estimate on the basis of the number. So the estimate that is being basically created, that is called quick estimate. Why? Because it has been launched at a very early stage and it can be changed in the time. Clear? So the quick estimates of the index of industrial production for March 2026 recorded a growth rate of 4.1%. So that is the growth rate for 4.1% of March 2026. Clear, my dear friends? I hope this is clear to everyone. Is this clear to everyone? So the quick estimates for the March 2026 were compiled at a weighted response rate of 88.5%. So the quick estimates of index of industrial production for March 2026 recorded a growth rate of 4.1%. A growth rate of 4.1%. The IIP growth rate in February 2026 was 5.2% according to the quick estimates. The sector-wise growth rates in March 2026 are mining, manufacturing, and electricity. 5.5% in mining, 4.3% in manufacturing, 0.8% in electricity. So these are the growth rates in the month of March 2026. Clear everyone? So 4.1% please remember. And the base year here is 2011-12. Okay. Now the quick estimates for March 2026 were compiled at a weighted response rate of 88.5%, and the final revision for February 2026 were compiled at a weighted response rate of 91.86%. Okay, my dear friends. So I hope that this is quite clear to everyone. So this is something that we are really required to cover from examination point of view, right? Again, let me tell you that this data which we have covered, we are only required to cover the latest data. If in the month of May we see the data of April coming, then that data will be more important. But right now we have covered the quick estimate of index of industrial production. It's static things, right? Yes, Harshal, we have to remember the data which is the latest one. If before examination the May data is coming, then that data is important for you. Okay. Now, my dear friends, let's move ahead to the next part. So, Uttarakhand, Karnataka and Tripura have signed reform-linked MOUs under the Jal Jeevan Mission 2.0. So, let's take an example that you have. See guys, earlier the Jal Jeevan Mission was launched to ensure that every rural household is getting the tap water connection. तो tap water connection सबके पास होना चाहिए to all the rural households, right? But we have to understand one thing. Let's take an example that in your home you have installed a new Wi-Fi router. You have installed a new Wi-Fi router, right? Every person in the rural household is having the Wi-Fi router. But whether you are getting the proper internet speed or not, whether the network is there or not, if the network goes, if you are not getting the proper speed, who will be responsible for fixing it? How we can do that? Who will be responsible for providing the installation? Who will be responsible for the maintenance of this router? Who will be responsible for the maintenance in the speed of the internet that you are getting? Let's take an example. You are only having the Wi-Fi router, but you are having no network. Will you really be enjoying that Wi-Fi router at your home? It's just just a kind of box which is adding no value to your life in your home, right? Are you guys getting my point? Similarly, what was happening is that we have provided the tap water connection to the people in the rural households, but now we need to understand that whether we are getting the water from there or not, whether the water is coming or not, what are the proper quality of water is coming or not, whether the proper amount of water is coming there or not. If there is some leakage in the tap water connection, if there is some leakage in the pipeline, who is responsible for the correction in that particular area? So everything we have to take a decision now, right? So first thing was providing the tap water connection. Now comes the maintenance. So we all of us are basically responsible for the maintenance of the same. So the reformed link MOU under the Jal Jeevan Mission signed with the three states Uttarakhand, Karnataka and Tripura. Let me tell you guys, when we will be covering the month of March now, in the month of March itself we have seen that around 5 to 9 states have signed such kind of MOU under the Jal Jeevan Mission 2.0. Clear? Now what we are doing this, we are marking implementation of the mission's extended phase, which seeks to ensure that every rural household has access to drinking water supply in adequate quantity or prescribed quality on a regular basis. It's not like that water is coming on Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Sunday, that's it, and not coming the other days. So basically we have to ensure that there should be a continuous supply and which is adequate and it is of a prescribed quality and it should be provided on a regular basis. Clear? Now it mandates a Gram Panchayat led service based and community centered model of the rural water governance. So we are mandating the Gram Panchayat led service based and community centered model of rural water governance, right? So let me tell you, my dear friends, a very, very simple part. Let's take an example. You had that router of the Reliance. You are having that router of the Jio, right? And if you are facing a issue, will Mukesh Ambani will be coming to your home to fix that particular router? Please answer me yes or no. Or the person who is who is basically installing the routers in your area will be coming there, right? And also it is your responsibility also, if there is some construction going if there is some construction going on in your home, so you will be taking care of that wire which is coming to your home, which is providing you that internet, right? So similarly, when we are having this water related issue, it's not that the somebody from the parliament will be coming, somebody from the board will be coming to fix that. No, it is the responsibility of the gram panchayat, right, to take care of the things. It is the responsibility of the people also to maintain the water or pipeline system. Clear? So we have to ensure that we are mandating a gram panchayat led service based and community centered model of the rural water governance. The provision to operationalize the decision support system platform developed by DWS for digital planning at the district and the gram panchayat levels, integrated with the Sujalam Bharat and the national water data sets. So you can see here that these are the three states which have signed this MOU: Uttarakhand, Karnataka, Tripura. And see, when we talk about the mission timeline, earlier the timeline of this mission was May 2024, now it has been extended till December 2028 to achieve the 100% tap water coverage and sanitation across the country. That's why we have taken this particular input. Are you guys clear? Are you guys getting it? So my dear friends, this is something that we have to understand. Clear? So Uttarakhand, Karnataka and Tripura have signed a reform linked MOU under the JJM 2.0. Now let's try to answer these questions. So quick estimate of the index of industrial production released for March 2026. What is the value growth rate of 4.1%, right? Then the quick estimate when it comes to the what are the different sectors which are there, which are the part. This includes MME, manufacturing, mining, electricity, right? What is the base year? 2011, 12. Clear to everyone? Now please quickly tell me that what are the three states which have signed the reform linked MOU under the Jal Jeevan Mission 2.0. What are the name of the three states? So it's Uttarakhand, Karnataka and Tripura, UKT. Clear? Uttarakhand, Karnataka and Tripura. It mandates which entity leading the service based and community centered model? That is basically Gram Panchayat. That is the right answer. Clear everyone? Now let's move ahead to the next part, that is the DOSJE, increased spending on the education schemes. So before moving on to the next article, I want to confirm from all of you. Please tell me whether all the things that we have covered till now in our session, see 5 articles we have covered, but these 5 articles are really very important one, right? Except one of them. And the remaining upcoming 3 articles, the 2 of them are really very important from exam point of view. We are having Panchayat Advancement Index, you can see on the screen, and then we are having the another Women and Men in India report, which is telling us the status of women and men across the different areas in our country. So please make sure that you are staying in the session and you are basically seeing that, okay, what are the other key important areas that you need to cover from exam point of view. Clear? Now my dear friends, moving on to the next article. So Department of Social Justice and Empowerment has dispersed 2042.8 crores in fiscal year 25-26 under the schemes for other backward classes, economically weaker classes, backward classes and denotified nomadic and semi-nomadic tribes. Clear? So I told you recently as well in the previous session that see, we are having, let's try to understand that there is a race going on in the society. Some people are having the advantage, some are having the disadvantage because they are socially backward. So they are required to add more effort to finish that particular race. So the government is just providing them extra pair of shoes, training, so that we can provide them some advantage and at least we are having a level playing field for this race for all the people who are the part of the race. Similarly, we are providing some amount, some grant for these particular schemes which are working for the OBC, EBC and DNT students. And what is the amount that we have provided? 2042.08 crores. So 2042.08 crores have been provided by the Department of Social Justice and Empowerment. And when it comes to the OBC welfare schemes, we have seen the increment increased substantially by 36.96% in the fiscal year 25-26 compared to the fiscal year 24-25. Clear everyone? Now let's move ahead to the next article, which is a very important part, guys. I will be marking the star here, right? I have not added the stars right now, but the PDF I will be sharing with you, that will be carrying the stars. Okay, So this Panchayat Advancement Index is a very, very important topic. Now what exactly it is? Let's take an example, my dear friends, that you are preparing for RBI Grade B officer examination, right? And as your candidature, so in the phase 1, which is the filtration round, so there we will be assessing you across the different areas. What are the different areas? Quant, reasoning, English, general awareness, right? So these are different areas across which you will be assessed. On the basis of that, you will be ranked, and then the top percentage of the students will be eligible for the phase 2 examination. Now similarly, let's try to understand this example, that the students who are participating, which are being assessed by the Reserve Bank of India as a part of the RBI Grade B officer examination, these students are basically the Gram Panchayats, right? And these areas, that is the quant, reasoning, English, general awareness. Similarly, there are some different areas for assessing the performance of the Gram Panchayats, right? To see that, okay, which Gram Panchayat is at what level, what they are doing good, what they are doing bad, how exactly, on what areas they need to work upon, on what areas they are required to work more, so that we can improve their rankings in the upcoming timeline, right? And here the role of the RBI will be played by the Ministry of Panchayati Raj. Clear? Now let's try to shift to the actual report. So Panchayat Advancement Index released by the Ministry of Panchayati Raj, and it provides us the information, the findings of the 23-24 financial year. And this was the second edition of the Panchayati Advancement Index. It basically serves as the performance report card for the Gram Panchayats and aims to strengthen Panchayati Raj institutions through participatory, transparent and the data-driven local governance. Clear? So the report serves as a performance report card for the Gram Panchayats, and it aims to strengthen the Panchayati Raj institutions through participatory, transparent and data-driven local governance. See guys, if I just say that as a RBI, if I just say that, okay, so you have received 10 marks and you are not qualified, but I have not told you that, okay, what was the actual number of paper, right? What was the actual marks in the paper? That means the paper was out of 200 marks, 50 marks or 10 marks. I just told you that you have received 10 marks only, that's it, and you are not qualified. But I am not telling you that, okay, what is that area in which you have not qualified, why you have not qualified. So this is basically a reason which you want to be digesting, right? Similarly, we are ensuring that right now when we are assessing these panchayats, so earlier we were having some presumptions that, okay, these are the general things on which we need to assess them, but now we are doing the data driven assessment. We are collecting the data, on the basis of that data we are assessing these panchayats, and then we are taking the decisions, and then we are seeing that, okay, which panchayat is performing really well. So my dear friends, now moving on to the Panchayat Advancement Index, it serves as a tool for evidence-based planning, performance monitoring and incentivizing Panchayati Raj institutions. The states and union territories are using the index to prioritize developmental interventions, prepare Gram Panchayat development plans, identify high-performing panchayats as the learning models, right? So state and union territories are using the index. Why? To prioritize development interventions, to prepare the Gram Panchayat development plans, to identify high-performing panchayats as the learning models. Why we are using this? Because of all these reasons. Clear? Now comes the Panchayat Advancement Index 2.2. What are the key important features of this index? So it is India's first nationwide data-driven framework for assessing Gram Panchayat performance. The framework evaluates more than 2.5 lakh Gram Panchayats across the country. Assessment is based on 150 indicators and 230 data points. Let's take an example, my dear friend, that earlier, let's take an example, I am having the 1000 parameters and they are quite complex in nature. So when I tell you that, okay, now you have to analyze yourself on these 1000 parameters, it will be very, very difficult job for you, right? So what we have done now is we have reduced the indicators to 150. That, okay, we are having only 150 indicators, quite specified one. You can evaluate yourself across these 150 indicators and 230 data points across the 9 thematic areas under the localization of sustainable development goals. See, my dear friends, let's take an example that India says that we want to achieve the sustainable development goals by 2030, right? That is the normal target, right? Similarly, a school principal says that I want to improve the students' performance in my school. So, will the students or the school performance will be increased just by school principal giving a speech in the assembly? Please tell me yes or no. Or there are some different parameters on which we have to work upon. For example, we have to work on the teachers, we have to work on the students, we have to cooperate with the parents as well, that okay, you have to ensure that this part is done at home as well, right? We are focusing on the different problems the students are facing. We are seeing that the pedagogical methods which are being used by the teachers, they are quite good in nature. So basically we are focusing on every parameter, and then only the school performance will be improved collectively. So that is what the reason with the sustainable development goals also. India cannot achieve sustainable development goal by 2030 on its own. Like our Prime Minister Modi ji has said that okay, we are also there, we will be also attaining the goals by 2030. This cannot be possible. We have to ensure that even at the local level we are able to, my dear friends, we are able to we are able to follow the sustainable development goals. Then only we are we will be moving ahead in the right direction. That is why the localization of the sustainable development goals is very important, and that is why we are having a 9 thematic areas. Now what are these 9 thematic areas? Before moving ahead, I would like to tell you that I told you now we have simplified the process. So earlier there were 516 indicators on which the panchayats were being assessed. Now it has been reduced to 150 indicators only. In Panchayat Index 1, Panchayat Advancement Index 1.0, there were 516 indicators. Now it is reduced to 150. Right? Earlier there were 794 data points. Now it is reduced to 230 data points. That means the life has been made easier now in terms of assessment. Clear? Now let's move ahead to the 9 thematic areas. What are the 9 thematic areas? These are poverty free and enhanced livelihood in Panchayat, healthy Panchayat, child friendly Panchayat, water sufficient Panchayat, clean and green Panchayat, Panchayat with a self-sufficient infrastructure, socially just and socially secured Panchayat, Panchayat with the good governance, women-friendly Panchayat. Clear? So we are having these different areas. Poverty-free and enhanced livelihood in Panchayats, healthy Panchayat, child-friendly Panchayat, water-sufficient Panchayat, clean and green Panchayat, Panchayat with a self-sufficient infrastructure, socially just and socially secured Panchayat, Panchayat with good governance, women-friendly Panchayat. So all these thematic areas, basically if a Panchayat is following and ensuring that yes, we are focusing these 9 thematic areas, that means that if they are performing well there, that means they have attained the sustainable development goals also. So these are the shortcut, because we have localized these 17 sustainable development goals across these 9 areas. Now guys, Gram Panchayats are classified into the 5 categories. What are the 5 categories? On the basis of the scores that they have achieved, they have been classified into the 5 categories, which includes achiever, front runner, performer, aspirant, beginner. So on the basis of their score, they have been categorized here. So what exactly is the category? Like if the score is 90 and above, they are achiever, A plus. Then 75 to below 90, A. 60 to below 75, performer. 40 to below 60, aspirant. Below 40, then that is the beginner. So you can see here that in the achiever category, we have 0 panchayats. The maximum number of panchayats are in the aspirant category at 1,23,719, followed by performer category, that is 1,18,824. Clear to everyone? Clear everyone? So these are the 5 categories in which they have been divided, that is achiever, front runner, परफॉर्मर, एस्पिरेंट एंड बिगिनर. पहले शुरुआत करेंगे एज अ बिगिनर, फिर थोड़ी सी अपनी जो स्कोर है उसको बढ़ा के बनेंगे एस्पिरेंट. एस्पिरेंट के बाद धीरे धीरे बेटर परफॉर्म करके बनेंगे परफॉर्मर, फिर बनेंगे फ्रंट रनर, टॉप परसेंटाइल में आएंगे, फिर बनेंगे अचीवर, फिर टॉप करेंगे. राइट? आई वुड से माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, व्हेन यू आर स्टडिंग फॉर दीज You know RBI Grade B officer exam. When you are studying for the RBI Grade B officer examination, what you have to do? This should be your journey. This is also kind of your journey when you are analyzing your scores across the different mock tests and the quizzes, right? So you have to also see that, okay, in which stage of preparation you are, and on the basis of that you have to take the required efforts to move ahead in your preparation. Clear, everyone? Now, based on the composite scores that these panchayats have received, 3635 gram panchayats were placed in the front runner category. ये front runner category का हिस्सा है. 1,18,824 gram panchayats, around 45.72%, they are placed in the performer category. And I already told you the maximum number of them are in which category? Are in the aspirant category. Clear? Now, which are the best performing themes? Theme 1 and theme 2 are the best performing themes. Why? Because in the theme 1, 3,313 gram panchayats were there in traditional local bodies. And the theme number 2, that is the healthy panchayats, which we are having 1,015 gram panchayats. And the traditional local bodies which achieved A+ grade are there. Okay? So now moving ahead, Panchayat Advancement Index 2.0 recorded 97.3% national participation. So this year you can see that the participation has also increased. Earlier we have seen that 29 states and UTs have participated, but now there was an increment of 4 states and UT. That means 33 states and UTs have participated. Now, my dear friends, in the overall Gram Panchayat participation, you can see that we have seen increase of 16.5%. Earlier 80.7% of the Gram Panchayats participated, now it has increased to 97.3%. So not just in the number of the states and union territories, we have seen increase in the number of Gram Panchayats also, which are participating in the Panchayat Advancement Index. Clear? Clear to everyone? So 97.3% national participation was there. So let's try to answer the questions. Panchayat Advancement Index. Panchayat Advancement Index, my dear friends, released by which ministry? Please tell me in the chat box. Minister of Panchayati Raj. And it serves as a tool for evidence-based planning, performance and monitoring. Why exactly we are conducting this survey? To prioritize the developmental interventions, to prepare Gram Panchayat development plans, to identify high-performing panchayats as the learning models. Now, when it comes to the PAI 2.0, it is India's nationwide data-driven framework for assessing Gram Panchayat performance. That is first. How many Gram Panchayats are evaluated in the PAI 2.0? That is 2.5 lakh. Assessment is based on 150 indicators and 230 data points across the 9 thematic areas. We have already covered the 9 thematic areas, and we have seen that the number of indicators and data points have reduced to 230 and 150 indicators. Clear? What are the 5 categories? A beginner, aspirant, performer, front runner, achiever. So please remember BAPFA, BAPFA, beginner, aspirant, performer, front runner and achiever. Now, how many Gram Panchayats were placed in the front runner category? 3,635 Gram Panchayats. How many Gram Panchayats were placed in the performer category? 45.72%. In which category the maximum number of Gram Panchayats were there? That is aspirant category, 1,23,000. Absolutely right. Which are the best performing themes? Theme number 1 and theme number 2 are the best performing themes. What are they? Poverty free and enhanced livelihood in Panchayat, that is the theme number 1, and healthy Panchayat is the theme number 2. Clear, everyone? And how many Gram Panchayats have participated in this year? What was the percentage increase? 16.5%. The percentage is now 97.3%, which have achieved this particular feat. Clear? Let's try to answer the questions. So, my dear friends, first of all, please tell me, are you guys ready to answer the questions? Are you guys ready to answer the questions? Okay. So, Department of Social Justice and Empowerment has disbursed dash crore. How much amount? 2,042 crore in the fiscal year 25-26. What was the substantial increase in the OBC welfare schemes expenditure? Around 36% increase. Absolutely right. Moving to the next part, Panchayat Advancement Index 2.0 report. So, which ministry has released? Ministry of Panchayati Raj. PAI 2.0 is India's first nationwide data-driven framework. Framework evaluates more than how many Gram Panchayat? 2.5 lakh Gram Panchayats. Assessment is based on how many indicators and data points? 150 indicators and 230 data points are there. So basically we have aggregated the 17 sustainable development goals into how many themes? That is 9 thematic areas. Now please tell me how many panchayats were placed in the front runner category? That is 3635 panchayats, right? The maximum number of panchayats were in the aspirant category, 1,23,718. And when it comes to the gram panchayats placed in the performer category, what was the percentage? Around 45%. Moving ahead, under the theme 1 and theme 2, what are the numbers that we have seen? See guys, theme 1 and 2 are the best performers. In the theme 1 we have seen 3,315 gram panchayats, and healthy panchayats were around 1,000. Right? Now PI recorded dash percentage of the national participation at 2.59 lakh gram panchayats. That is what percentage? 97.3 percentage. We have seen the increase of 16.5%. Clear everyone? Clear everyone? Everybody is able to understand this part from examination point of view? Okay. Please give me a thumbs up in the chat box if everything is clear till now. Then we will be moving on to the next part of the session. Okay, now let's move ahead. All the people have said that yes, they are able to understand. So, Kashish, Ikigai, Material Chair, Harshal, ABC, Pratyush, Material Chair, Ikigai, all the people have given me the right answer to all these questions. Well done, my dear friends. And I'm really happy to see that yes, you are able to cover all this important information from examination point of view. Clear? Now let's move ahead to the next article, Women and Men in India 2025, Selected Indicators and Data. So this report has been released by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, released 27th edition of the Women and Men in India 2025, Selected Indicators and Data. Let me tell you, my dear friends, women and men are the two very important pillars of our society. Now it is very, very important to understand that, okay, whether all the things that we are providing to the women as well as the men, whether they are being equally provided or not, or there is any discrimination, or there are areas in which the women are lagging behind, or there are areas in which men are lagging behind. We have to identify that, and that is why we came up with the Women and Men in India 2025 report, released during the National Deliverable Summit by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So it tells us about the overview of the status of women and men in India through the selected indicators across the key sectors, which covers domains includes population, education, health, economic participation, decision making, violence against women. So guys, see, in our country, when we want to identify the status of the women and men, there are some different areas across which we need to focus upon. Like population is one, education is one, health is one, whether health care facilities are provided to them or not, economic participation, whether they can participate in the Indian economy or not, decision making, violence against the women, and the other gender related issues are one of the very, very important part of this particular Women and Men in India report, right? And we are basically creating this report on the basis of the data which we have collected from the various ministries, departments and organizations. Now my dear friends, metadata. What is the metadata? That is the information, detailed information about a particular information. So the metadata for 50 key indicators has been included to improve clarity and understanding of the concepts, definitions, sources and methodologies used in the publication, right? So also the clarity or understanding के लिए we have added those concepts, definitions, like providing you more better information. Like I told you that in example that I just told you that okay, you are performing poor in the RBI Grade B officer exam. So the question will be like, in which area I am performing poor, in which part, like it is a quant, reasoning, English or GA. Even if in the quant reasoning, in the quants, what is that area in which I am not performing well, in the simplification, in the arithmetic, in the data interpretation, what is that area? So that's why we have, to bring more clarity and understanding, we need that metadata, and for that we are having a total of 50 key indicators. The publication presents gender disaggregated data with the rural urban classification, State-wise use data and time series data wherever applicable. The publication aims to support policymakers, researchers, stakeholders in developing gender-responsive policies and programs for inclusive and sustainable development. Now, my dear friends, let's move ahead to cover the important data of the Women and Men in India report. Right? Now, the first data here is the sex ratio. The sex ratio at birth. That is basically how many females are taking birth per 1000 boys. So basically you can see that earlier this ratio was 904 in 2017-19. Basically which shows that when 1000 boys are born in our country, then we see that only 904 are girls. 904 girls are taking birth. But this number has improved to 917 in 2021 to 2023. We have improved to 917 in 2021-2023. Clear? Now comes the infant mortality rate for both female and the male infants. So basically we are talking about the mortality of the children before completing 1 year of age. Right? So you can see here that mortality has decreased for both female and male since last 2008 to 2023. In 2008, when it comes to the female, it was 55, it has reduced to 25 only in 2023. For the males, it was 52 in 2008 and it reduced to 26 in 2023. That's what we need to cover. Then comes the gender parity. My dear friend, gender parity is a very, very important concept. Why so? Because whatever the facilities which are provided to any person, see, it should be equally available to both pillars, like be it the women or the men. Let's take an example that men are having the X number. Let's take an example, 100 facilities are there. As compared to men, the women are only having 70% of these facilities. So that means that there is a gender parity is not there. Right? So we need to achieve that gender parity. And you can see here that we have seen that gender parity in the school education from primary to higher secondary school. As you can see that gender parity has been achieved across all levels of the schools, be it the elementary, secondary or higher secondary. But even in the higher secondary you will see that we are even outperforming the boys. The girls are even outperforming the boys, as the number is at 1.1. That means now we are 10% ahead of the boys. The girls are 10% ahead of the boys in terms of higher secondary education. Clear to everyone? That is called a very important part. Now let's move ahead. The gross enrollment ratio at higher education has improved from 28.5 to 30.2 for the females and 28.3 to 28.9 for males. Gross enrollment ratio, right? The number of people who are enrolling into the higher education. So it has increased from 28.5 to 30.2 for the females and 28.3 से बढ़ के 28.9 हो गया for the males. Now there has been an increase in the LFPR for ages 15 and above for both men and women. A particular increase आप देखेंगे, so it was basically for the females. For the rural females, we have seen the particular increase, the highest increase from 37.5% to 45.9%. From 37.5% to 45.9% is the highest increase in terms of women. You can see here, guys, we are talking about the rural females. Here are the rural females. The number was 37.5%. It has increased to 45.9%. Highest increase has been seen in this particular category of the rural females. Right? Now when it comes to the managerial positions, see guys, in our country there are so many jobs available, and across those jobs there are so many positions which are available. Some are managerial, some are non-managerial. When we talk about the managerial positions, so how many people, how many men are having those managerial positions, how many women are having those managerial positions? That's what we have to cover. So you can see that there has been a 73.8% increase in the men engaged in the managerial positions between 2017 to 2025. Whereas there has been a 102.54% increase in the women engaged in the managerial positions during the same time period. Clear? So 73.8% increase we have seen in the men, and 102.54% increase we have seen in the case of the women engaged in the managerial positions. Let's again try to revise the whole data. Are you guys ready to answer me in the chat box the right answers? Let's move ahead, my dear friends. So Women and Men in India report, first of all, released by which organization, which ministry? Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. It is released as 27th edition of the publication. Women and Men in India 2025 report is there. So now the question comes that when it comes to the sex ratio at birth, it has increased from 904 to what number in 21 to 2023? That is 917. When it comes to the infant mortality rate, the female infant mortality rate has reduced from 55 to 25 for the females and from 52 to 26 in the males. So you can see here almost half. The mortality rate has almost gone half. Now the gender parity we have seen, it is achieved across all the levels of education, but in the higher secondary education, the girls have outnumbered the boys. Now the gross enrollment ratio, my dear friends, it has increased from 28.5 to 30.2 for females and 28.3 to 28.9 for males. And when it comes to the LFPR, it has increased from 37.5 to 45.9% for the female rural people, and 73.8% is the increase in the men engaged in the managerial positions between 2017 and 2025, while the number for female was 102.54%. Clear everyone? Now I will be asking the question to all of you, and I want all of you to give me the answers in the chat box. Are you guys ready? So here we are having that particular part. Women and Men in India 2025 selected indicators and data. This is the report released by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. This was the 27th edition of the report. The publication was released at the National Deliverable Summit, which was held in Bhubaneswar, Odisha. Now about the report. So my dear friends, now let's move over to the very, very important part, the sex ratio at birth. It has increased from 904 to what? 917 in 2021 to 2023. Infant mortality rate has also declined. For the women, for the females 55 to 25, and for the males 52 to 26. That is the right answer. Now when it comes to the gender parity, it has increased. It was 1.1 in which level? It was 1.1 in higher secondary level. Now the gross enrollment ratio. What was the gross enrollment ratio? It has increased from 28.5 to what number for females, and 28.3 to what number in the males? Let me see who will give me the right answer. I am waiting for your responses. Please try to give me the right answer in the chat box. What is the right answer to this question? Let me see who will give me the right answer to this question. So my dear friends, please try to be very quick in giving me the right answers. So I can see here 28.9% for the females and 30.3%. Absolutely right. Well done, my dear friends. Both of you, all of you have given the right answer. Now when it comes to the rural females, the percentage has increased from 37.5% to what percentage? Now please tell me the answer to this question. What is the percentage? It's around 45%. Absolutely right. Now there has been an increase in the men engaged in the managerial position. It was around 70% increase in the men engaged in the managerial positions. So my dear friends, with this we are done with all the articles which are relevant for both phase 1 and 2, except RBI notifications. Now we will be moving on to the RBI notifications. Clear? So before moving ahead, is this clear to everyone? Please give me a thumbs up in the chat box if yes, so that we can move ahead to the today's in the remaining part. So we are done with some of the most important articles that we are required to cover from examination point of view, right? Which includes the 2 important reports also which have been released in the month of April, and we have covered all of them, retained the data, and we are even able to answer the data in the right part in the chat box. That is really a very important part. Now let's move on to the RBI notifications. Now, my dear friends, the first notification is amalgamation of the Bhavani Sahakari Bank Limited, Bhavani Sahakari Limited with TJSB Sahakari Bank Limited. So, with the TJSB Sahakari Bank Limited, we have amalgamated the Bhavani Sahakari Bank Limited. So, RBI has approved the voluntary amalgamation of Bhavani Sahakari Bank with the TJSB Sahakari Bank Limited, Maharashtra. And the scheme of amalgamation was under the section 56 of Banking Regulation Act 1949, which will be coming into effect from 4th of May 2026. Now, after the amalgamation, the branches of the Bhavani Sahakari Bank Limited will function as the branches of TJSB Sahakari Bank Limited from the effective date. Clear? So, which are the two banks? So, Bhavani Sahakari Bank Limited has been merged into the TJSB Sahakari Bank. Now, moving to the next part, the sectoral development of bank credit in March 2026. Let me tell you, my dear friends, we will be having the data for the April also. By the time your examination will come, right? So, for now, we are not required to cover this particular data. Let me tell you, give you an overview of this data. So, basically, what bank does is, what RBI does is, it collects the data from the 41 select scheduled commercial banks, right? And it sees at how much credit we have given to the different part of the economy, like to the non-food credit given by all scheduled commercial banks. What was that? It was 15.9% year on year on the fortnight ended 31st March 2026. Similarly, credit to agriculture and allied activities, credit to industry, credit to the services sector, and credit to the personal loan segment. Clear? So basically, we will be skipping this part. We will be only covering the latest data for the month of May. Moving ahead, RBI has launched the May 2026 round of Rural Consumer Confidence Survey. My dear friends, these are quite very easy articles, right? The Rural Consumer Confidence Survey is basically being conducted by the Reserve Bank of India, right, on a regular basis, where we basically collect the current perception of the households across the different areas, like general economic situation, आपको क्या लग रहा है क्या होगा, what exactly will be the employment scenario, whether you will be working or not, overall price situation, what do you think will be there. So basically we are talking the rural areas, Rural Consumer Confidence Survey, right? It covers households in the rural and the semi-urban areas across 31 states and union territories, where we collect this information from these rural households. Clear? That is basically the Rural Consumer Confidence Survey, and this will be conducted this year by Ipsos Research Private Limited, which is of Gurugram. Now moving to the next news article of Urban Consumer Confidence Survey, right? So May 2026 round, the Urban Consumer Confidence Survey was there. It collects the qualitative responses from households across the same level of information that we have covered, but this time this is done for the 19 cities. See guys, earlier we saw the Rural Consumer Confidence Survey, now we are on to the Urban Consumer Confidence Survey. Now we are focusing on the urban areas, and these inputs will be helping the Monetary Policy Committee also, right? And this survey will be conducted by Hansa Research Group Private Limited. The earlier one, the rural, is from Ipsos and Hansa in the urban areas. That's all. It will be across the 19 cities. Let me tell you guys, a few years back there was a question from one of the surveys, and they asked that, okay, out of the 19 cities, 5 cities names have been excluded, and they were given in the statements, and you were required to identify that which one of them will be filling the details in this particular fill in the blanks, right? So we have to look after these cities also. Okay, just go through them guys, there is no other way, you have to go through them for the exam point of view. Now moving ahead, the inflation expectation survey of households, basically it will be conducted by Hansa Research Group Private Limited, and again we are focusing on the 19 cities to capture household assessments and the price movements and inflation based on the price consumption baskets. Clear? So these are not that much relevant from exam point of view. Let me tell you that these articles are quite having the less relevancy from examination point of view. But the article which we are going to cover now, it is one of the very important part. That is, RBI has launched Saksham for Urban Cooperative Bank. My dear friends, what is the meaning of Saksham? Meaning of Saksham means to make capable, to make a person competent, right? So RBI has now come up with the initiative of Mission Saksham. Let's take an example that in our that one hospital is there in the city, right? A very big hospital where all the laws are being followed, all the protocols are being followed, and there are so many people working there. Some good decisions are taking place, everything is streamlined, everything is having a process, right? Then let's come to the rural area. Let's come to the rural area. And in that rural area, what is happening is that we are having a small hospital with a very limited staff. Now you will be able to see the people who have visited such kind of centers, the hospitals in the rural areas. You must have seen that they're not following much of the processes there. They're not following their processes are not that much streamlined. They're not following the protocols properly, right? There is some kind of easiness when it comes to the laws which are there. So in as health sector is really very important, so government of India says that okay, we want that okay, these hospital staff members, they are following these rules and regulations, and they are quite very good in understanding the protocols and the laws of the hospitals and the health sector. That is why we are providing you the training. We will be providing you the training which will help you to achieve that particular level at which the people who were working in the city hospital were having, right? So we are basically doing the skill upgradation. Let me tell you guys, the same kind of event has been taken place where where the Reserve Bank of India has launched the Saksham mission for the urban cooperative banks. Urban cooperative banks is a very important component of the Indian economy, right? So basically these banks, for these banks, RBI has come up with the Saksham initiative. So the Reserve Bank of India has launched the mission Saksham, that is सहकारी बैंक क्षमता निर्माण. तो क्षमता का निर्माण किया जाएगा for capacity building in the urban cooperative banking sector. The mission Saksham is a mission mode sector-wide and all India training initiative for urban cooperative bank. It aims to strengthen managerial and operational capabilities, improve compliance culture, and enhance institutional resilience in the urban cooperative banks. It creates a sustainable ecosystem for continuous learning and support the healthy growth and stability of the urban cooperative bank sector. Clear everyone? So Mission Saksham क्या है? एक mission mode में एक initiative which has been launched by the Reserve Bank of India, where we are doing section wide and all India trading initiative. Training we will be providing to the urban cooperative banks people. We are strengthening the managerial and operational capabilities of the people. We are improving the compliance culture in the urban cooperative banks. We are enhancing the institutional resilience of the urban cooperative banks. So that is really a very important part. And we are creating a sustainable ecosystem for continuous learning. Under the mission Saksham, guys, on what areas we will be focusing on? We are focusing on the in-person and e-learning training programs. Who will be provided the training? Board members, senior management, head of the risk compliance and audit functions, employees in IT and other critical areas. So these are the different groups which will be provided these particular trainings. So board members, senior management, head of the risk compliance and audit functions, employees in the IT, other critical areas are there which are the part of this particular initiative. Clear, my dear friends? These are the target members, target groups. Now RBI will be attempting to deliver training content in regional languages wherever possible. So basically regional languages are being supported by the RBI, right? We are not just going with the English, we are supporting that okay, you can operate in a regional language also. The mission has been designed in consultation with the umbrella organization of urban cooperative banks and national and state cooperative federations. The mission is expected to enhance managerial and operational capabilities, improving the compliance culture and strengthen institutional resilience across urban cooperative banks. So mission will be enhancing the managerial and operational capabilities, improve the compliance culture, and we will be strengthening the institutional reliance across the urban cooperative banks. Clear? So that's why Saksham mission has been launched by the Reserve Bank of India. Very important part. Let's again revise it. So Saksham stands for Sahkar Bank Kshamta Nirman. Clear? What are the beneficiaries? Urban cooperative bank sector. Clear? We are providing mission mode, sector-wide and all India training initiative for urban cooperative banks. It will be aiming to strengthen managerial and operational capabilities, improving compliance culture, enhance institutional resilience in the urban cooperative banks. Now under the Saksham, 1.4 lakh participants will be trained including board members, senior management, head of the risk compliance and audit functions, employees in the IT and other critical areas. Clear? RBI will be providing the training content in the regional languages also. So that's all. Now let's move on to the next news article. So Mizoram Cooperative Bank Apex Limited included in the second schedule of the RBI Act 1934. So my dear friends, Mizoram Cooperative Bank Apex Bank Limited has been included in the second schedule of the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. Clear everyone? Which bank? Mizoram Cooperative Apex Bank. Now please try to answer the questions here. Amalgamation of which bank? With the TJSB Sahakari Bank Limited, it is Bhavani Sahakari Bank Limited. Under the section 56 of the Banking Regulation Act 1949. Now moving ahead, the Rural Consumer Confidence Survey will be hosted by Ipsos. Now the Urban Consumer Confidence Survey has been conducted across how many cities? That is 17 cities. Absolutely right. Now which organization has been engaged by RBI to conduct the survey? It is Hansa Research. Now moving ahead, what is the name of the mission launched by the RBI for Saksham for urban cooperative banks? Mission Saksham. Mission Saksham is a mission mode sector-wise and all India training initiative for urban cooperative banks. Now under the mission in person and e-learning, which programs will be conducted? Training programs will be conducted. The target groups include the board members, high risk, high level committees. What are the other intermediaries which will be provided the training here? Please tell me in the chat box. Where RBI will be attempting to deliver training content in the local or we can say regional languages. Clear? What exactly Saksham stand for? Sahakari Bank Kshamta Nirman. Everybody is given the right answer. Now let's move ahead. Dash Cooperative Apex Bank included in the second schedule of RBI Act. That is the Mizoram. Mizoram is the right answer. So my dear friends, with this we are done with the important articles which are relevant for the phase 1 and 2. Which are relevant for the phase 1 and 2 from the examination point of view. Clear everyone? Clear? Now before moving on to the next set of articles, so I can see material share, Harshal, Madhur, Kashish, Ikigai. All the people have given me the right answer to all these questions. Well done my dear friends. Now before moving on to the phase 1 articles which we will be covering in a very quick manner, let's try to have a 5 minutes break my dear friends. Let's have a 5-minute water break. Okay. So your time starts now. Right now in my watch it is 5:45. You have to be back by 5:50. Clear? After that we will be starting the remaining part of the session. So your time starts now, and please ensure that you are not just sleeping after this water break, right? Everybody is required to come back to the session because phase 1 articles are also required to be covered for the month of April, and that is why we have to ensure that we are going after that, okay, after the break. So your time starts now. So my dear friends, are you guys back after the break? Please give me a thumbs up in the chat box if you guys are back so that we can resume the session. I am waiting for your responses in the chat box. Please give me a thumbs up in the chat box if you guys are back. So we have to ensure that yes, everybody is back so that we can resume the session. Your last set of news articles are left and we are going to cover them in really a very quick manner. Okay, so everybody is back. Let's start. Let's resume the session. So now we are focusing on the phase 1 current affairs, right? So guys, the first article here is, and let me tell you guys before starting it, that the phase 1 articles we will be covering in a very quick manner, right? Very quick manner. So first news article is Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puraskar. It is a national level award conferred annually to recognize exceptional achievements of the children across India. And this has been given across the different fields like bravery, sports, social service, science and technology, environment, arts and culture. The children who are really doing good work in the fields of bravery, sports, social service, they are giving this award Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puraskar. But there are some limitations to it. There are some conditions to it. That the person should be an Indian citizen residing in India. And that achievement for which the person wants to get the award, basically that should have been within last 2 years, right? Preceding the last date of the nomination. For example, you are having the eligibility criteria that RBI says that okay, from this date, we will be calculating your age. And if you are basically till this particular age, then definitely you can move ahead in filling the form. Similarly, if your achievement was within the 2-year timeline of the last date of nomination, then you can fill this form. And my dear friends, there is a particular age group of people who can apply here, that is the people of 5 to 18 years. Clear? The awards are presented annually by the President of India. So again, please tell me, Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puraskar is a national award conferred annually to recognize exceptional achievements of children across bravery, sports, social service, science and technology, environment and art and culture. Right? Within 2 years, what is the minimum timeline of that, achievement, the act or achievement before the last date of the nomination? That is within 2 years. And what is the age group? 5 to 18 years. Absolutely right. The nominations can be submitted by any individual or institution, and children can also apply through self-nomination. Moving ahead, harmonizing administrative data for governance. So guys, recently Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation has organized National Deliberative Summit on harmonizing administrative data for governance in Bhubaneswar, Odisha. So this particular summit was held in Odisha, and I tell you that we have already covered this summit when we were discussing the Women and Men in India report, where MOSPI released this report, Women and Men in India. The summit aims to build consensus on an action plan and timelines for harmonizing administrative data and making it ready for wider use in the policy making and governance. Clear? So where exactly that particular summit took place? That summit took place in Bhubaneswar, Odisha. Now the next news article, Indian Railways to introduce new Amrit Bharat Express. So guys, what are the routes for this Amrit Bharat Express? Banaras, Hadapsar, Amrit Bharat Express, and one weekly Ayodhya to Mumbai Amrit Bharat Express service have been launched, right? Which will be promoting inclusive and accessible rail travel in the country. It will be connecting Uttar Pradesh with Maharashtra through Madhya Pradesh. So it will be connecting Uttar Pradesh with Maharashtra through Madhya Pradesh. Clear everyone? The services will pass through important cultural and economic corridors, strengthening connectivity between the major population centers. The trains are expected to facilitate smoother movement of pilgrims and the working class. So it will be connecting which 3 states? UP, Maharashtra and MP. These are the 3 states which will be connected with these Amrit Bharat trains. Banaras, Hadapsar and Ayodhya to Mumbai. Clear? Moving on to the next news article. So guys, the biogas based cooking system under the Swachh Bharat Mission Urban 2.0 was there in the news because one of the Shrimati Menka Vinay Vihar Educational Complex is basically using the biogas in the Gandhinagar, Gujarat, and it is showcasing the scientific waste management and energy self-reliance. How? Because they are managing it, and they have shifted from the conventional LPG to the biogas based cooking system, right? So they basically prepare meal of 500 people on a daily basis, and how they are creating that biogas with the help of the cow dung, right? So the campus prepares meals daily for more than 500 people, including around 250 hostel students, serviced twice a day, and 15 staff families residing on the campus. The institution operates two biogas plants with a combined capacity of 90 cubic meters per day. So please tell me what is the name of the place where this Shrimati Menkaba Vinay Vihar Education Complex is there. It is in Gandhinagar, Gujarat. Clear, everyone? Now moving on to the next news article. India has participated in the 5th World Small Scale Fisheries Congress in Thailand. So please tell me, NABARD students, anybody for preparing for NABARD, this is really helpful for them. We are talking about the Small Scale Fisheries Congress which took place in Thailand, and it doesn't mean that for RBI students it is not important. RBI students also required to cover this, because in the phase 1 exam there can be a question from this particular congress. So a high level Indian delegation participated in 5th World Small Scale Fisheries Congress held in Thailand, which was organized by the Food and Agriculture Organization and TBTI Global, right? तो TBTI ग्लोबल और FAO ने मिलकर इस कांग्रेस को ऑर्गेनाइज किया विद द थीम स्मॉल स्केल फिशरीज फॉर एडवांसिंग जस्ट हार्मनी, young futures and regenerative wisdom. It focused on justice and conflict resolution in coastal ocean regions through environment, youth empowerment in fisheries, ocean stewardship. Now guys comes a very important part, some kind of important data that we need to cover. That is, when it comes to small scale fisheries, what is the percentage of employment it provides to the world's fishers? So you will be really surprised to know that 90% of the world's fishers are employed in the small scale fisheries, and 40% of the marine and inland fish catches globally, right? And they contribute to 40% of the marine and inland fish catches globally. When it comes to India, what is the India's scenario? India's highlighted its position as the world's second largest fish producer. So what is India's position as the fish producer across the world? India is on the second position with record fish production of 19.7 million tons. So guys, 5th World Small Scale Fisheries Congress was held in which country? Thailand. Which two organizations organized this? FAO and TBTI Global. Clear? Small scale fisheries employ nearly what percentage of the world's fishers? 90%. India highlighted its position as the world's second largest fish producer, that is, and contributing what amount of production? That is 19.7 million tons. Absolutely right. Clear, everyone? Now let's try to answer these questions. So Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puraskar. Please be quick. Please try to give me the answer in the chat box in a very quick manner to these questions. So the Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puraskar is being given across, is a national level award conferred annually to recognize exceptional achievements of children across India, across the area of bravery, sports, social service, science and technology. Now eligible applicants must be Indian citizen residing in India. Their act or achievement must have occurred within 2 years. The age group must be between 5 to 18 years. 5 to 18 years. Now harmonizing administrative data of governance. Which ministry organized the National Deliberative Summit in Bhubaneswar, Odisha? Ministry of Statistics Program Implementation. Now comes the next part. Indian Railways to introduce new Amrit Bharat Train Express. So Indian Railways will introduce one daily dash Amrit Bharat train and one weekly Ayodhya to Mumbai Amrit Bharat Express service. What is this one? Okay, let me give you the answer of the difficult name, that is the Hadapsar. Now please tell me the name of this station. What is that station? I am waiting for a response in the chat box. Moving ahead, these trains are going to connect Uttar Pradesh with Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. Right? So please tell me. Yes, Ayodhya Mumbai is there. And the Hadapsar has been connected by which station? It is Banaras. Absolutely right. Banaras is the right answer. Well done, Material Shade. You have given the right answer. Now moving on to the next part. India participated in its 5th World Small Scale Fisheries Congress in which country? Thailand. Thailand, right? It was organized by FAO and TBTI Global. Small scale fishers employ nearly 90% of the world's fishers. India highlighted its position as world's second largest fish producer. India contributes dash percentage of global fish production. Ranks second in the aquaculture production, leads in shrimp production and export. What will be the right answer here? What is India's contribution? Okay, so we basically skipped that particular part, right? India contributes 8% to the global fish production, guys. India contributes 8% to the global fish production, right? Correct, everybody? Everybody able to answer the question? Please tell me in the chat box. Are all of you able to answer the questions? Please quickly tell me in the chat box. So this is something that what we have to do from the examination point of view. Clear? Okay, ji, let's move on to the next news article. So the Department of Post and DTDC has signed an MOU, and the Department of Post and the Ministry of Communication signed MOU with DTDC Express Limited. It aims to strengthen India's logistics and e-commerce ecosystem. Collaboration will combine the Department of Post extensive infrastructure and network with DTDC's logistic expertise. So for the India's logistics and e-commerce ecosystem, we have basically signed an MOU. Department of Post with the DTDC Express Limited. Now comes to the next news article. Prototype fast breeder reactor at Kalpakkam attained criticality. Guys, we have already covered this article. I am not going to repeat it. We have covered this article 2 times in our previous sessions, right? But again it was there in the news. And why so? Because after Russia, India will be the second country in the world operating a commercial level fast breeder reactor. That was the information which was additional this time. So what is the name of the country after which India will be the second country in the world operating a commercial level fast breeder reactor? That is Russia. Absolutely right. Now moving ahead, tell me the name of the university which celebrated its centenary in Visakhapatnam. That is Andhra University. So Andhra University has held its centenary celebrations in Visakhapatnam, and Andhra University was described as the melting pot of ideas and leadership during the celebrations. It was established in 1926 by the Madras University Act. Clear? Moving on to the next article, NVSETs India. So guys, NVSETs India FAQ 2026 has been launched by the Minister of Statistics and Program Implementation, and this is the publication which is titled as NVSETs India. Now what exactly this whole publication is all about? So this publication basically provides us thematic knowledge resource at building stakeholder capacity and strengthening environmental decision making. Guys, you all know that we are focusing on the sustainable development goals. So we want to strengthen the environmental decision making. We want to build stakeholder capacity, and that is why we have come up with this particular part, right? NVSETs India launched by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. It will strengthen conceptual clarity and increase awareness regarding environmental accounting. See guys, there are so many principles that we use in the environmental areas, and accounting is one of them. And what kind of environmental accounting principles we are using there, that are basically mentioned in the NVSETs India. Clear? To bring conceptual clarity and increase awareness regarding the environmental accounting, we have come up with this particular initiative, NVSETs India. NVSETs India FAQ includes new domains, updated methodologies, emerging policy relevant themes compared to the earlier versions. Now what are the key features of that? It provides comprehensive and structured understanding of environmental economic accounting, natural capital, ecosystem services. So all in all, we will be providing a structured understanding of the environmental accounting principles used in the environmental areas. It incorporates updated concepts aligned with the SEEA and system of national accounts. Right, my dear friends? Right? Are you guys able to understand that? So basically it is having the updated concepts aligned with the SEEA and SNA 25, that is the system of national accounts, which will strengthen the integration of environmental and economic statistics. Some new sections on the forest accounts, pollination services have been introduced. MOSPI adopted the United Nations system of environmental economic accounts. You know this SEEA framework. So this was adopted by MOSPI in 2018. It stands for System of Environmental Economic Accounts. It is an internationally agreed framework for compilation of environmental economic accounts. Guys, see, from the very first instance, you must be thinking that, sir, this news can be the part of the phase 1 and 2, right? Because of the length in which we have covered and the kind of topic that it covers, that is the environment. But it is talking the environment accounting, and we have nowhere a topic related to environment accounting. So that is why we have kept it in the phase 1 section only. Clear? NVSET's India FAQ document has been launched by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, and it was adopted by MOSPI in 2018. The SEEA stands for System of Environmental Accounting and SNA stands for System of National Accounts. Now moving ahead, Competition Commission of India has approved the acquisition of stakes in Avendus Capital by Mizuho Securities. So Mizuho Securities will be acquiring the stakes in the Avendus Capital, right, on a fully diluted basis. So please remember, Mizuho Securities is a Japanese company. Now moving ahead, government approved rural development and road projects for Jammu and Kashmir. So guys, recently, minister was on the visit to the Jammu and Kashmir, and there they have basically approved the project of 3,566 crores for Jammu and Kashmir, and the amount has been allocated under the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana that we have already covered in the previous sessions, right? The project aims to strengthen rural infrastructure and improve village connectivity in the Jammu and Kashmir. The initiative focuses on roads, livelihood, housing and agricultural led development. Now again we have provided a sanction of 4,568 crores under the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Rural Livelihood Mission. The sanctioned under Day NRLM for women self-help group members groups across 24 states and union territories. So see guys, for the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Rural Livelihood Mission, we are having the 4,500 crore rupees. And for the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, we are having around 3,566 crore rupees. Clear everyone? Please remember the amount only. Now moving on to the next article, Indian delegation to participate in SCO Defense Ministers meeting in Bishkek. So my dear friends, the upcoming SCO meet, that is Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting, will be hosted by Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan. Why? Because it is having the chairmanship of this SCO. An Indian delegation has also participated in it, where Raksha Mantri has gifted the 2 Bhishma Arogya Maitri health cubes to the Kyrgyz side. Now my dear friends, let's come onto the very very important part of the SCO, right? So Shanghai Cooperation Organization is basically an intergovernmental organization. It was established on 15th June 2001 in Shanghai, China. It is having members including India, Russia, China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Pakistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Iran and Belarus. So these are the different countries which are the part of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, having the Secretary General as Nurlan Yerman Kabib. Nurlan Yerman Kabib is basically the Secretary General, and the chairmanship of SCO has been now passed on to the Kyrgyz Republic with the theme of 25 years of the SCO. When it comes to India, guys, India became the full member of the SCO in 2017. India was having the chairmanship in 2023, and see, we are having a rotating chairmanship. And 2026 year marks the 25th anniversary of the founding of the organization. Clear? In which year? Please quickly tell me in the chat box in which year the SCO was established. 15th June 2001. SCO stands for Shanghai Cooperation Organization. This year, which country is hosting the summit? That is Kyrgyz Republic, which is having the chairmanship. The theme is 25 years of the SCO. In which year India joined SCO? 2017. In which year India had the chairmanship? 2023. 2026 marks 25 years, 25th anniversary of the founding of the organization. And what was the gift given by India to the Kyrgyz side? That is the Bhishma Arogya Maitri Health Cube. Absolutely right. Now let's try to answer these questions. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to give me the answers? Okay, let's start. Be quick. So Dash and DTDC signed MOU. It is the Department of Post. And DTDC signed MOU. Right? Now please tell me the university which celebrated its centenary in Visakhapatnam. It's Andhra University. Envisage India has been released by which organization? Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. The publication incorporates updated concepts aligned with the SEEA framework and SNA, System for National Accounts and System for Environmental Economic Accounts. When it comes to the SEEA, it was adopted by India, MOSPI, in which year? 2018. Now CCI approved the acquisition of stake in which organization by Mizuho Securities and Avendus Capital. So Mizuho Securities is a part of the Mizuho Financial Group of which country? Japan. Government approved rural development and rural road projects for Jammu and Kashmir under the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. 3,566 crores has been given and 4,567 crore has been given for the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Rural Livelihood Mission. Absolutely right. Now my dear friends, Indian delegation will be participating in the SCO Defence Ministers meeting. Where exactly it is taking place? Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, right? Because it is having the chairmanship. Now India has gifted 2 Bhishma Arogya Maitri health cubes to the Kyrgyz side. Now let's move on to the SCO. It was established on 15th June 2001 in Shanghai, China. Secretary General is Nurlan Yermankabyev. The chairmanship of SCO is being passed on to the Kyrgyz Republic with the theme 25 years of the SCO. India became full member of SCO in 2017. India got the chairmanship in 2023. Please tell me who is not able to answer all these questions correctly in this particular quick revision session. Please tell me here. My dear friends, please tell me in the chat box what is the right answer. Are you guys able to answer all these questions? Okay, I can see in the chat box everybody is saying yes. That really shows that yes, you are able to do all these things properly. Now let's move on to the next article, guys. So CERTN has organized the Samvad 2026, which is a National Cybersecurity Conference. So this National Cybersecurity Conference was held in BITS Pilani, Goa. तो बिट्स पिलानी गोवा के अंदर ये कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई थी विद द थीम सिक्योरिंग डिजिटल भारत थ्रू फ्यूचर रेडी ऑडिट्स. सिक्योरिंग डिजिटल भारत थ्रू फ्यूचर रेडी ऑडिट्स. क्लियर? India has met record peak power demand of 256.1 gigawatt without shortage. So guys, recently India successfully met its highest ever peak electricity demand, and that was 256.1 gigawatt on 25th of April at 3:38. And India was able to fulfill the demand without any shortage. So the peak demand is the maximum number, the maximum amount of electricity demand across the whole country at that particular time, which was 3:38, when we had 256.1 gigawatt or 20 gigawatt of electricity demand. Right? We basically surpassed the earlier record of 250 gigawatt on 30th May 2024. Now moving ahead, my dear friends, Andhra Pradesh has achieved 100% electrification of its railway network. Right? So this was basically announced during one of the conference which was taking place in Visakhapatnam. It was the Google Cloud India AI Hub groundbreaking ceremony. The gazette notification of the creation of the South Coastal Railway Zone will be issued with effect from 1st June 2026. The announcement was made at the Google Cloud India AI Hub at Visakhapatnam. The development aims to strengthen railway administration in the Andhra Pradesh. So when it comes to the development, my dear friends, it will be strengthening railway administration in Andhra Pradesh. Clear? It will be strengthening railway administration in Andhra Pradesh, which has already achieved 100% electrification in its railway network. Right? So a proposed high-speed connectivity corridor was also been announced, which was being specified by the minister as high-speed diamond network. High-speed diamond network. Please remember the name. It can be asked in the exam. Now recently, guys, groundbreaking ceremony of Google Cloud India AI Hub was held in Visakhapatnam, where it was mentioned as a AI Patnam, that is AI city. That Visakhapatnam will be called as the Artificial Intelligence Patnam, as it will be driven by cutting edge infrastructure and global investments. The project, with an estimated investment of USD $15 billion, is being developed in partnership with the Adani Connects and Airtel Nextra, and will include a 1 gigawatt hyperscale AI data center in Visakhapatnam. Absolutely right. Clear, my dear friends? USD 15 billion and Visakhapatnam, AI Patnam. Please remember this. Adani Connects and Airtel Nextra. Clear to everyone? Let's move on to the next news article. So, my dear friends, Swiggy has organized a Swiggy's 3 initiative. Swiggy's 3 initiative celebrating Women on the Move initiative. Right? Women on the Move initiative. So, this initiative was organized by Swiggy to recognize women delivery partners from Swiggy Food Marketplace and Instamart. You guys all know that right nowadays we are ordering food outside, and not just the food but the other products as well. We just open the app of the Swiggy Food Marketplace or the Instamart, and we just order the food, and they deliver the food to our doorstep, right? So basically we were recognizing the women who are coming outside, who are overcoming their socio-economic challenges to earn the livelihoods, and they are acting as the delivery partners with Swiggy. So that's why Swiggy's 3 initiative has been launched by the Swiggy. So on this particular occasion, some important data was also been announced. That is, India's labor force participation rate has increased in the last 7 to 8 years from 23.3% to 40% in 2025. From 23.3% to 40% in 2025, it has almost doubled India's female labor force participation rate. The female worker population ratio has increased to nearly 39% in 2025 from 22%. See guys, from 22% to 39% in the female worker population ratio. Female labor force participation rate increased from 23.3 to 40%. The female unemployment rate declined from 5.6 to 3.1%. India's social security coverage increased from 19% in 2015 to 64.3% in 2025. Let me tell you that these data are really very important from exam point of view, for both phase 1 and phase 2 exam. But this initiative has been launched by a private entity, right? So it is having more chances to be asked in the phase 1 only. But still the below data is very, very important. So please tell me the name of the organization in the chat box which has come up with the Swig's 3 initiative, that is the Swiggy, right? What was India's female labor force participation in 2025? 40%. What is the female labor force participation rate? What is the female worker population ratio? It is 39%. The female unemployment rate is 3.1%. Clear? India's social security coverage increased from 19% to 64.3% in 2025. Clear everyone? Now the CBDT has organized mega outreach program on the new income tax framework. So the Chief Commissioner of the Income Tax has organized a mega outreach program titled Bridging Borders Building Trust. So this was the program Bridging Borders Building Trust, which was held in New Delhi, organized under the Prarambh initiative, and it has been basically launched in order to aware the people about the provisions of the new Income Tax Act 2025. So guys, you all know that which act will be replaced by Income Tax Act 2025. It is Income Tax Act 1961 which we are replacing. We are replacing Income Tax Act 1961, right? So Income Tax Act 2025 is replacing Income Tax Act 1961. 1961 is also the year in which the NCRT was being launched. It is also an organization which is deemed to be university declared by the government, right, under the UGC Act. So we have covered some different important initiatives now. The department also demonstrated the AI powered chatbot Kar Sathi during this particular initiative. Clear? So the new Income Tax Act 2025 will be replacing Income Tax Act 1961. For this only this outreach program was launched, titled as Bridging Borders Building Trust. Now my dear friends, INS Sunaina we have already discussed so many times in the previous session. So it is going to now reaching Changi Naval Base in Singapore, right? It is deployed in the Indian Ocean region with a multinational crew from 16 friendly foreign countries. Next news article, foreign first assessment cycle of IICA Arbitrator Qualifying Assessment Program. My dear friends, first assessment cycle of IICA Arbitrator Qualifying Assessment Program has been conducted at Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs. You all know that, you know, India is creating a pool of professionally trained and globally benchmarked arbitrators, and they are being trained at IICA. So their first assessment cycle has been taken place now at IICA campus in Manesar, organized by the Center of Excellence in the Alternative Dispute Resolution, that is CADR. AQAP is a 3-tier rigorous assessment program for certification as an arbitrator. So AQAP ये एक 3-tier rigorous assessment program है for the certification as an arbitrator. So please quickly tell me here that the first assessment cycle of IIC arbitrator qualifying assessment program was held at which organization? It was held at Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs. Right? That's all. Now my dear friends, moving on to the next article. World Intellectual Property Day is observed on 26th of April. You all know guys about intellectual property, right? So every year we celebrate on 26th April as the Intellectual Property Day. The theme was IP and Sports Ready Set Innovate. IP and Sports Ready Set Innovate is basically the World Intellectual Property Day theme this year. Clear? It was announced in 2000 that World Intellectual Property Day will be celebrated on 26th of April. Now let me tell you that on this occasion, Indian government has announced that all intellectual property registrations related to the sports will be exempted from the fees for 3 years with the immediate effect. So basically any organization, so they have announced that the registrations related to the sports for the patent, for the copyright, we are now exempting from the fees, right? You can basically apply for the filing for the copyright and the patent free of cost for a period of 3 years with the immediate effect. Now the exemption applies to the trademark, copyright, patent, designs, traditional knowledge, geographical indications related to the sports. The initiative aims to promote innovation in the sports ecosystem. The government will also provide facilitation support under the existing schemes to help innovators, students, artisans and stakeholders file and secure IP rights. So my dear friends, on which date we celebrate World Intellectual Property Day? That is 26 April. What was the theme this year? IP and Sports Ready, Set, Innovate. On which area, on which sector the government of India has announced that if there will be registration of the patent, copyright or design, traditional knowledge, then it will be free. That is sports. And for how many years? For 3 years. Absolutely right. Now let's try to answer the questions, my dear friends. India met a record. Now are you guys ready to give me the answer? Are you guys ready? Okay, let's start. India met record peak power demand of how many gigawatt without shortage? 256.1 gigawatt. Absolutely right. The peak demand surpassed the earlier all-time high of 250 gigawatts in which year? 30 May 2024. Andhra Pradesh has achieved what percentage of electrification? 100% electrification. The Gazette notification of creation of South Coastal National Railway Zone will be issued with effect from 1st June 2026. The proposed network was described as a high-speed diamond network. Moving ahead, the Swiggy organized the Swigs 3 initiative, celebrating Women on the Move initiative, right? Delivery partners from Swiggy Food Marketplace and Instamart. India's labor force participation rate has improved from 23.3% to what percent? Around 39% was there, right? The female labor force participation, sorry, this was around 45%. So what is that percentage? 39%, 40%, 45%, it's around 40%, absolutely right. Now the female labor force participation rate increased from 22% to 39%. Female unemployment rate is reduced from 5.6% to what percentage? 5.6% to what percentage? Female unemployment rate, it is 3.1%. Now India's social security coverage has increased from 19% to what percentage? 64.8%. 1%, right? That was the India's social security coverage. Absolutely right. Now moving ahead, CBDT organized mega outage program on the new income tax framework. So it was bridging gap, bridging. What was the title of this program, my dear friends? I have already given you the hint. It was bridging gap, right? And when it comes to the program, aim to create awareness about provisions of the new Income Tax Act 2025 under the Prarambh initiative. Clear everyone? Material share, the ready set innovate is basically for the World Intellectual Property Day, not for this question. Clear? Clear to everyone? Let's move ahead. World Intellectual Property Day is observed on 26th of April. What was the theme? It was Ready, Set, Innovate. So all the patent filings, copyrights related to the sports will be exempted for a fees for a period of 3 years. So yes, Ikigai has given me the right answer. Well done. Now my dear friends, let's move ahead to the next part. So I can believe that all of you are able to answer most of the questions that we have covered till now, right? Now moving ahead, the Ministry of Coal has signed a CMDPA with the underground coal gasification. So Ministry of Coal has executed coal mine or block production and the development agreements of the 4 coal mines. This is the first tranche of commercial coal mines in India to include the provisions for underground coal gasification. So this is the very first time that we have seen that we are, including the provisions for the underground coal gasification. And the agreements were signed under the 14th round of commercial coal mining auctions, and which organization is secured. So the Redchala and Chintalpudi sector of the coal mines have been acquired by Reliance Industries Limited, and Axis Energy Ventures India Private Limited has secured the dip extension of Belpahar and Tangardihi East coal mines. Clear all? Ministry of Coal has done, and Reliance Industries Limited has secured the Redchala and Chintalpudi sector, and Axis Energy Ventures India Private Limited secured the dip extension of Belapur. Now moving ahead, AIIAIC AINE signed MOU with the Rajasthan Ayurved University. So with which state Ayurved University it is signed an MOU? With the Rajasthan Ayurved University. What is its the name? Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan Rajasthan Ayurved University, Jodhpur, to strengthen innovation, research, technological advancement and entrepreneurship in the Ayurved sector. Moving ahead, my dear friends, 50th year of statehood celebrations in the Sikkim. In the Sikkim, 50th year of statehood celebration took place in Gangtok, right, where projects worth 4,000 crores were inaugurated and foundation stones were laid down. 6 cricket academies, 1,000 steps of unity performance was being performed by the Sikkim people there. Now guys, some static details are very important from here, because 50th year, it is a milestone for any state, right? So the Sikkim observed 16 May every year as a Sikkim State Day. So Sikkim State Day we celebrate every year on 16th of May, as it was a date when it was integrated with the Union of India in 1975. The integration process accelerated after the 8th May tripartite agreement signed in 1973. A special opinion poll held on 14th April 1975 recorded 59,637 votes in favor and 1,496 votes against the resolution. The 38th Amendment Bill was promulgated on 19th April 1975 and Article 371F was added, and Sikkim that's how became the 22nd state of the Union of India. So Sikkim was which state? It was 22nd state of the Union. In 2016, which state became the world's first fully organic state? It was again Sikkim. Sikkim observed the statehood day on which date? 16th May. In which year it was integrated with the Union of India? 1975. Clear? All the important details we have covered from examination point of view. Now my dear friends, let's move ahead. Prime Minister to visit Uttar Pradesh for the developmental project. So guys, recently Prime Minister Modi ji visited Uttar Pradesh, right? And in Varanasi, he basically inaugurated the projects having the cost worth 6,350 crore rupees, right? Across the different sectors like railway, road, water supply, healthcare, tourism. Across all these areas, we have seen these projects. 6,350 crore rupees projects were being signed. During the second leg of the visit, the Prime Minister also inaugurated Ganga Expressway in Hardoi. My dear friends, Hardoi is a place in Uttar Pradesh and Ganga Expressway has been inaugurated. It is a 594 kilometer long Ganga Expressway at a cost of 36,000 crore rupees. So the cost is 36,000 crore rupees, 594 kilometer long 6-lane expressway has been created in Hardoi. Clear everyone? Now moving ahead. DRDO and Indian Navy conducted maiden salvo launch of NASMSR missile. So my dear friends, we are on to the final leg of our today's session. So DRDO and Indian Navy have successfully conducted the maiden salvo launch of the naval anti-ship missile short range. Right? So naval anti-ship missile short range. Please remember the full form. NASM, naval anti-ship missile short range. Right, it was conducted from a Navy helicopter of the coast of Bay of Bengal in Odisha, marking the first salvo launch of an advanced air-launched anti-ship missile system. It is an anti-ship missile system, guys. It is developed by the Research Center Imarat, Hyderabad in collaboration with the Defense Research Development Laboratory, Hyderabad, High Energy Material Research Laboratory, Terminal Ballistic Research Laboratory, Integrated Test Range. So DRDO and Indian Navy conducted the maiden salvo launch of NASM-SR missile. What is NASM-SR missile? Naval Anti-Ship Missile Short Range. It has been conducted, the maiden salvo launch of the same has been conducted by the Indian Navy and the DRDO. Clear? Let's move ahead. NSSTA released the 120th issue of the Sarvekshan Journal. Guys, Sarvekshan Journal has been launched by National Statistical System Training Academy. This was the 120th issue of the Sarvekshan, which has been launched by NSSTA under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Sarvekshan is a biannual journal focused on official statistics. It is recognized for its academic rigor and the policy relevance. So what is the name of that organization which has launched the 120th issue of Sarvekshan Journal? That is National Statistical System Training Academy, which has launched this particular journal. Now moving ahead, Indian Army has conducted Operation Netra 1.0 I camp in Leh Ladakh. So my dear friends, in Leh Ladakh, Indian Army has conducted Operation Netra 1.0 I camp in Leh Ladakh. The Indian Army conducted an advanced surgical I camp named Operation Netra 1.0 in Leh Ladakh. The initiative focused on high altitude medical care and humanitarian outreach in Ladakh. Clear, my dear friends? So with this, we are done with all the articles. Now we will be trying to answer all these questions that we have covered till now, which are the part of the quick recall. Are you guys ready for the final quick recall of the today's session? Are you guys ready? Please give me a thumbs up in the chat box that yes sir, we are ready to rock. We are ready to kill all the questions which are coming our way of becoming the next RBI Grade B officer. Please show me some energy. Okay, so everybody saying that yes, we are ready. Okay, let's start. Be quick. Make sure your hands are on your fingertips are on the keyboard. The Ministry of Coal signed first CMDPA with underground coal gasification. What exactly it is? Ministry of Coal has executed this block, right? Which organization secured the Resholra and Chintalpudi sector A1 coal mine, that is the Reliance Industries Limited. AIIA-ICAIN signed an MOU with the Dash Ayurved University, Rajasthan. 50th year of statehood celebrations in Sikkim. Developmental projects worth 4,000 crores were inaugurated in Sikkim. A cultural performance titled 1,000 Steps of Unity was been performed. Sikkim observed 16th May every year as a Sikkim State Day, and it was integrated with the Union of India in 1975. Sikkim became the 22nd state of the Union of India In 2016, Sikkim became world's first fully organic state. Absolutely right. I can see many people are giving me the right answer. Well done. Keep it up. Keep it up. Be quick. Be quick. Moving ahead to the next part. Prime Minister to visit Uttar Pradesh for developmental projects. Varanasi development projects worth around dash crore were inaugurated. What is the amount? What was the amount? Around 6,300 crores will be inaugurated and foundation stone laid. And during that, Ganga Expressway was been inaugurated. It is a 594 kilometer long 6-lane expressway. Moving ahead, DRDO and Indian Navy conducted the maiden salvo launch of NASM-RSR missile. What exactly NASM stands for? Navy, Naval Anti-Ship Missile Short Range. Absolutely right. Now please tell me which organization conducted Operation Netra 1.0. It is Indian Army which conducted Operation Netra 1.0. Indian Army conducted that in the Leh Ladakh. That's all. We are done with the final week of the April 2026. My dear friends, how many of you are able to answer the question? Please give me a thumbs up in the chat box if you are able to retain all the important information that we have covered till now in this particular session. See, we have covered the things, we have revised the things, we have retained the things by the help of the today's session. And now the next part is you have to revise the PDF. Revise the PDF. I will be uploading the PDF in the portal, on the portal. The people who are having any doubt at where exactly the PDF will be provided, it will be provided on the website of the chapters. No PDF will be provided on the Telegram channel, right? And after the session, I will be uploading this PDF onto the portal, right, my dear friends? And then by the end of night or by tomorrow morning, you will also see that we will be having the MCQs of this particular session uploaded on the channel, right, on the portal, so that you can revise the MCQs also. Clear, my dear friends? Clear? Now the people who are basically new here, let me show you that from where exactly you can access. From where exactly you can access. Just go to chapters. Just go to chapters, right? Here to the top right corner there is a courses. Then you will go to the package. It will show you the current affair package, and there when you will go down you will see that there is a current affair chapter of the April month. There is a current affair chapter, and below that you can see that we have provided you the PDF till 26th of April. Now after this particular session, my dear friends, I will be adding the PDF of 27th to 30th of April. Right? And after that, I will also be adding the monthly compilation also by today itself. So monthly compilation of the April month will be provided to you today itself only. Then remaining part will be the monthly section wise compilation. Right? That will be provided to you by tomorrow evening. By tomorrow evening, you will see that monthly section wise compilation is also been there for the month of April. Clear everyone, my dear friends? Clear everyone? Although this would have been done in the previous week only, but due to some circumstances I was unable to work on that, and that's why today we are having that final PDF. And now you can see that we will be providing you the sectional PDF also. Clear everyone? Clear everyone? Okay, so my dear friends, to ensure that yes, you are following this particular loop, you have to ensure after the session you are revising the PDF, and after that you will be solving the MCQs. So I'm expecting all of you to be really on the toe, and you are definitely making sure that yes, you are revising everything. So thank you Kashish, material share, Ikigai, Harshal, Pratyush, and all the people who have answered all the questions correctly in the examination. So my dear friends, if you are having any doubts, please mention that in the comment section. I will be resolving your doubts there, right? Now please allow me to bid bye to this particular session. Let's conclude this particular final week of April 2026. Okay, so bye bye, wish you all happy learning. I will be meeting you now tomorrow at 8 AM in the morning with the next session of the 5th of May 2026 session, right?